legends never die. Video games, movies, sports on the line. Your favorites carved in stone divine. It's all about your top four, nothing more. Rushmore Show kicking down the door. Ranking the icons, the greats we adore. It's all about your top four, nothing more.
This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Kirk, what do you think about the new intro? We're in a new place now.
I dig it.
Okay.
Can you dig it, sucker? Yes, I can dig it. Hey,
well,
so
let me tell you the quick story.
Yeah.
The song we've been using for 4 years,
4 years.
almost 4 years now. Was totally royalty free. Everything was good, and they just started dinging us for it. So I guess Mocha Music, not a sponsor anymore, has decided to start taking some royalties. So we went another route, and we've got this is a work in progress introduction. We'll add some more things, but it was literally thrown together in a day. So
dude. And now, because it's last minute, we've dropped the ball on this, but we need a RIP candle.
Yeah, we do.
Because that's old school. Welcome to the show, everybody. So let's tell some hellos. Francisco El Capitan is here in the chat. Bryce J. Dub is in the chat. Who sang that song? Andy sung that song with probably AI. That's who sung that song. And Poetically Christian Gamer, PCG in the house, Kevin's in the house, and a new friend, Adam David Collins, Nerd Heaven. Welcome to the chat. And hey, look, for everybody that's in here, this is for you. Once I get to it, give me and 3, 2, there it is. All right, so we got it off early today, so some new folks in the chat. This is what happens. You are now a part of the Summit Squad. We are going to climb this mountain together. We do this every Thursday night, and tonight isn't no different. We are in the middle of movies months now, our month series, and we are going to do space exploration tonight. But before we do that, you can follow along with us in the chat. Drop your top 4 favorite exploration movies. This was a hard one, Andy. We talked about it in our chat. It sounds like some of the guys on board. We have 2 guests today. But space movies and space exploration movies, they kind of overlap a little bit. There's some that aren't exploratory. There are some that are. There's some that are about space but don't ever go in space. There's all kinds of criteria we're going to have to drop today.
Yeah.
But you guys, what we've been told and how we're going to kind of roll with this, we'll give it to you here in a second. But before we do, I got to shout out a couple things. Andy, one, I graduated. I graduated my master's.
We have a master in the house.
Yeah, I am officially a Jedi. So I am Master Shifu, or Yoda, or
Master.
Master of Puppets. But
I'm a Master of Muppets.
Master of Muppets, yeah. And so I graduated, and then we celebrated by going, and I was going to wear the shirt. I couldn't find it in such a quick time. But we went on just a brief get out of town little date night, I guess, last weekend. And for all you guys that know, if you went back and watched our concert episode, one of the concerts that's really near and dear to me was, we call it Endfest, an End, E-N-D, not I-N-F, Endfest. Back in the day, in the early 2000s in New Orleans, was one of the first dates of me and my wife, and the headliner there was Stained. And so we went and saw Stained, but here's the cool part. Breaking Benjamin was there, and if you've been around long enough, we call the honorable mentions the Benjamins, and there was a time we called it All About the Breaking Benjamins. And for our music history, I was going to wear a Breaking Benjamin shirt for you. But so that was this weekend. That was fun, kind of reminiscing. They had Wage War. Man, they're pretty heavy. And then they had this really cool band, Lakeview. They were like a country metal band, and that was
Love
fun.
that.
It's
Love
kind of like Florida Georgia Line meets Metallica. It was it was quite interesting. Yeah, it was kind of fun. But hey, so we were doing that. School's out for the summer, Alice Cooper, and we are out. My last day of work is tomorrow, but my kids' last day was yesterday. So if you hear them in the background, it's because they're having a good old time because it's summer. And so a lot of things are happening. We'll share those at the halftime. Don't go nowhere. 10 people in the chat. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already done so, hit the like. That's the most important thing. And follow us along in the chat and drop your top 4. So, Andy, we're talking about space exploration.
Yes.
Do you like space movies?
I do. But here's the thing. It's always interesting when we get these topics because, again, if you don't know, we allow our guests to pick the topic. We have like a main idea. We're in the movies and TV realm, but we let our guests pick.
Pause. Dude, hey, listen, we're gonna mention it right now for you, so you don't leave. This is a hilarious thing. I saw this on a list, and I was like, bro, talk about bring you back to the 80s or whatever it was, the 70s. Yeah. Dude, that was quite a sight. But yeah, Kev, we love you being here. So
for me, space movies, like, it was a lot more difficult to put this list together because for me, if you know me, I watch a movie and I'll watch it 100 times and I love that movie. And space movies aren't always space exploration. That's what makes it difficult. Movies.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
Aren't always necessarily the ones that I'm. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of.
They're not rewatchable. They're not necessarily rewatchables.
Yeah, it's
kind of like Titanic. Once you see it one time, you know the boat's
right. They've already explored, and I know what's happening. You know.
And you don't rewatch anything except for The Office and Parks.
Well, except for the things that I love. If I love it, I rewatch it 1,000 times.
Okay, so let's jump into this because I'm sure our guest has some opinions about it as well. Andy, is your wife out of school yet?
Same as you. Tomorrow, I think she's got like a day or two next week because she's an interventionist and not a teacher.
She's like super important, right? And so
I've
never watched the Titanic.
She's always there.
Am I the only one? I've only watched parts of it. I mean, it's not my jam. But does Spaceballs count? Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that here tonight, Poetically Christian Gamer. Thanks for being here. Let's do this thing. Let's get these guys on. Let's get chatting with our new friends. Not our new friends, but new guests. This is their first time, both of them. And Andy, what a great intro. I just saw it again down here in the chat. That is awesome. Well, let's do this thing. I'm going to work on all these videos, by the way, over the summer. I got time now. Time? I wish you
had more time.
Yeah. Let's do it. Rushmore of space exploration movies. Let's do it.
Hey, real quick, I can't believe you didn't. I mean, you sort of halfway mentioned this this comment that was in there, but Poetically Christian Gamer said, "When will then be now?"
Soon. Did he really say that?
Yeah, and when he said the Spaceballs count.
That is because the Spaceballs count. When will then be now? Oh yes, dude. That is one of my favorite quotes of all time. If we do ever do a quote, it probably is mandatory. Has to be on mine. Because I say that so much.
Oh, yeah.
When is then? Now. Soon. Yeah. Interstellar and Star Trek, the motion picture, are first that come to mind. So, look, Adam, thanks for dropping those. Those are both great movies. We're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get our guests out here. I think the first guest that I welcomed onto the show, well, I had actually kind of sent flyers out to both these guys, and the first one that kind of responded um, was a friend of a new guy to Culture Box. Hey, so Culture Box, we're going to mention those guys, and Francisco's in the chat. We might as well talk about him today. So we'll drop that at halftime. But our new friend over at Monster Vault, Nate Marchand, his best friend is coming on today, or one of them. And I met him just in the chatty chats and all the little things and, the circles of Christian creators. And I just threw a flyer out and he's like, sure, man. So let's welcome to the show first with Nerd Chapel, our new buddy and new guest, Eric Anderson. What's up, Eric? Come on down.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, buddy. So yeah, you're a friend of Nate's, right?
Oh yeah. We have co-authored 3 books together. We've known each other since college. We go back. Yep.
Yeah, go back, way back. So you're gonna have to come on board a lot more often now because Nate's coming on the team with us over there in Culture Box, and that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to have Nate. I think we're gonna start promoting his stuff in July, so probably the first week of July. But he just got voted in. He survived. So, well, tell us all about you and your show and your creation and your channel and your socials and your conventions and whatever you want to let all of tens of 10 people know.
The tens of 10. Yay! Finally. So I am Eric Anderson. By day, I am a substitute teacher. By night, I do Nerd Chapel. Nerd Chapel is my initiative to bridge the gap between the Christian community and the nerd community. And it started from a prompt that I got when I was with Youth with a Mission. I did discipleship school with them for about 7 months. And one of the things God said as I was coming out of that was, you have all these hobbies. There's already a culture around those hobbies. Why aren't you already there? And it's like, oh, okay, guess I need to go. And it's been a joy. It's been tons of fun on this crazy, wild journey. I started Nerd Chapel in 2013, so it's already been, in about a month, it'll have been 12 years, which is crazy. But I started with a blog and a few YouTube videos that my tech director at my church helped me with. So as I was doing that, I realized, there's, I go into a Christian bookstore and there's all sorts of devotional books written for people who love sports and people who love hunting. Nothing for nerds. So I called Nate and I said, I'm going to do a devotional book for nerds and geeks and I want you to join me. And so we have co-authored 3 books. I'm working on my first solo book, and all the books our goal is to help nerds and sci-fi fans and gamers take steps with Jesus with the help of the hobbies and the stories they already love.
Yeah, I love
that. So Eric, I just spoiler alert, Andy and I are doing the same thing, and I'm working on some devos for us as well. And I'm going to advertise a bunch of them from our other friends that have done them. Later, I need to have yours in my hands. So when we get off tonight, you got to let me know where I can go to get them. Actually, let's tell them where they can go to get them. And then I'm going to go and have to pick up yours, too, to put in my collection. And I believe our other friend also is a writer. So I'll have to get his stuff, too. But share with them where they can find it, what they can do to get it.
You can find me at nerdchapel.com, facebook.com/nerdchapel. On the Instagram, you look nerd_chapel. And I go to a lot of cons. I do church services at about 4 cons a year, but I'm more often just sitting with a table in Artist Alley with other writers and talented artists saying, hey, these are the books I've written. I'm a follower of Jesus, but I'm also a nerd, and these will help you learn about Jesus with the hobbies and characters you already love. I've got a table at a local library event this Saturday. Our village is having our big festival, and they're going to have authors outside of the library during the festival when everyone's on their way to the carnival.
I love it.
Dude,
So
that's
I'm gonna be at that. I'm gonna be at Hall of Heroes Comic Con in Indiana in just over a week. And this summer I've got Gen Con. I've got where Nathan always gets book tables. We'll have our books at his book table at Gen Con. So look for Nathan Martin's book table at Gen Con. And I oversee a Christianity and gaming panel at Gen Con. And I also coordinate the church service. And Tom Vasso, the Dice Tower guy, one of the best board game reviewers in the entire world, always does a sermon at Gen Con.
Nice.
He's been a youth pastor and a children's pastor, and right now he's just on the board at his church. But I do all of the background stuff in the hosting and those kinds of duties. And I also have services I'll be doing at JFAX in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Grand Con Gamers Convention in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So lots of things to find me at. I'll be at the Realm Makers Expo this July. And I haven't finished the paperwork, but there is a music festival that I'm going to be at this summer. It'll be my first time at a music festival.
That's awesome. I love that.
Dude, that is awesome. Way to represent. So PCG says, well, happy-go-lucky Santa. I'm your biggest fan. Twitch, you're over on the Twitch side. But Poetically Christian Gamer, that is so cool, Eric. I'm a writer as well. I have Christian Padre, and in them I have nerdy things. I love it. Supposed to say poetry. I thought so. I was like, Christian Padre, Christian poetry, and also Derek. I need to get your stuff as well. And support. Look, I want to promote all you guys. Look, I just love everything that is happening in this kind of community, and we want to support you guys. So, hey, let's get our other friend on board here, so we can fill up the Rushmore, the top 4 guests tonight. And hello, Rushmore Show. What's up, Pops? Welcome in the live chat. Everybody say hello to Robert Pop Springs. Go support him. He is such a great supporter of us. Next on the show, I mentioned this earlier with them, and in Francisco. Hey, Francisco, don't go nowhere yet. I know you have dinner being cooked and ready. Tell Ashley we love her. And wait 1 second. So a couple years ago, I was, as I got saved and I was jumping in to become a pastor, I was in school. I was learning what to do, and some of the nerdy friends around me were kind of like laying down things that were maybe guilty pleasures, if you will, and some things that were kind of, taking them away from their walk with Christ. And I wasn't so positive I needed to do that. A lot of the things that hindered me was more alcohol, drugs, and other things, not necessarily my fandoms. At least I didn't feel it at the time. And I started searching online for people in the realm. And I found a guy named Dallas with Geek Devotions. Now, Geek Devotions is how we got into Culture Box, which is Francisco. Now, here with Francisco. But way back when, Francisco, you were in this as well. That's how I found you and met you and started following you. As a matter of fact, I followed Francisco for almost a year before I even said hello. Because I remember when, you go on Twitch and you do like followage or whatever, it said like 6 years. And he was like, wait, 6 years? Like you just started following us. And I was like, no, I've been following for a while. But so Dallas did a draft, and it was like a March Madness like tiered tournament of creators, podcasters, gamers that were all in the Christian space. And I believe Retro Rewind won his division, and another guy that I found was this guy, Christian Geek Central, Paeter. I think it's Frandsen, but welcome to the show. Another guy I've been following for a long time in the background, and I finally reached out. Actually, I reached out, I think, last year, and then we didn't really get a good chance to connect. And then he's not huge on socials, so I had to email him, which I'm not big in email. If I can tell you this, if there's one form of communication I wish would just disappear forever, it would be email. But
Oh, really?
oh my gosh, I can't stand it. I'm a teacher, and I'm like, hey, did you see
That's
the
where you
email?
can go deep, man. That's where you can go deep. You got a big
People
old
are like,
body to work
hey,
with.
did you see that email? And I was like, no, thanks for texting me. I'll go look, because now I know that it's there. I'm not looking at it. But yeah, so finally connected with through some email, got us together, and he's like, yeah, I'll jump on with Eric. So welcome to the show, Paeter. Tell us all about Christian Geek Central. You have been a real big inspiration for us, because you at least at one time were almost like weekly or bi-weekly, like all the time dropping scriptures. You'll say that you aren't classically trained, but man, I really feel like you've just been doing this such a while, and it's a great space, and I love it. I love to kind of just throw it on the background sometimes when I'm working. Tell everybody about Christian Geek Central and what got you into this. Why YouTube and online world, and how can people find you and all that jazz?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think like a lot of people that end up doing this kind of ministry in this sphere, you either through your own experience or you see also in the experience that others are having that like there seems to be a disconnect between hardcore fans of sci-fi, fantasy, horror, comic books, video games, stuff like that, a disconnect between them and the local church. And my heart is really to help that group connect to the local church. And I don't ever want to put my content out there as like a replacement for that, but rather like, hey, how can I encourage you to thrive? How can I help us all be equipped to thrive in our local churches, even if our local churches don't quite understand us, you know? And so my ministry to geeks began in 2006 when I started out with a focus on audio drama and started a small company called Spirit Blade Productions, which I still run. That is all about audio dramas, full cast audio dramas. I produced 4 full cast audio dramas, most of them feature length, and that were original stories that were all, you know, intended to be like that sci-fi summer blockbuster experience, you know, with tons of sound effects and so that was the focus for a number of years. And then along this early on, I was encouraged to do a podcast. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll give that a go. And really over time, I just realized that what I wanted to do, how I wanted to help and equip and encourage Christian geeks was going to be even more possible by that kind of weekly content format, whether that's the like podcasting, which I started in 2007, or YouTube, which started about maybe 10, 11 years ago. And so at one point, the podcast got rebranded. Episode 500, it got rebranded. 501, it was rebranded to Christian Geek Central. And we're on 860-something episodes now every week since about 2007. Yeah, so in each episode, and as well as like a lot of what my YouTube content is about, it's a combination of reviewing geek entertainment from a thoughtful, biblical Christian perspective, and then also a weekly Bible study that's first and foremost just trying to help us understand the text as best that I can. And then once we have tried to do that, take a look and say, okay, so what maybe would be especially relevant in this text to me as a Christian geek, with all the social awkwardness, the insecurities, all the idiosyncrasies that a lot of us tend to have, as well as the blessings in many of us of creativity and intelligence and thoughtfulness. So in all of that, what does Scripture, how does Scripture apply to us, and what the Lord wants to do in shaping our lives, maturing us, and having us be an effective part of the local body of Christ. And so whether I'm talking about entertainment, comic books on Tuesdays, Bible studies on Monday, it's kind of a potpourri, or maybe nothing on Wednesdays. I do some live streams on a second channel on Thursdays, and then Fridays, the main review content of a show or movie or video game or something like that. And always looking for like, okay, what are those things here that can maybe prompt some thought and reflection that would maybe be challenging for me or useful to me and to other geeks taken in my content, that can just take us a step further in that direction off in the distance that we're always being beckoned to by the Lord.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. You just got a comment. What day of the week do you sleep? That's what we just wanted to know.
I'm doing all right. I
Yeah.
don't sleep super great, but I'm doing all right.
Hey, so there's a lot of new friends that jumped in, and we have Hammy and Son. Hammy was on the show. Great testimony.
Yeah.
He is just an amazing guy. Was basically brought back to life. He's a veteran. Does things with his son. He has a great channel opening cards and ripping packs with his son, and he talks a lot about PTSD. Go over there and support him for sure. Fox Play Gaming will be on the show again soon. He was on in January. Follow him. Is it Spout or Spuat? What? Yeah.
That's Justin Toops. It's Toops.
Oh, Justin. Oh, it's backwards.
Yeah.
What's up? All right. So Justin, I gave you moderator, which we always do to our friends. I figured you were a friend because you and Andy were chatting. And I think that's it. Oh, Pops, and PCG. So as you guys have moderator, you can drop your channels, as well as you guys, if you'd like, can drop your channels in the comments so that people can come over and follow you. Not everybody is Christian that follows us, but most people are either interested in leaning in or they are kind of bouncing around that idea. And let me just share a couple things about our ministry. It's mainly for you, Paeter. In the beginning, we were trying to figure out kind of what our ministry was going to look like. And Andy and I kind of came to the conclusion that we're also kind of a stepping stone. Our goal is this: that you can come to our channel and find encouragement, enrichment, and just the love of Christ for Christian geeks, gamers, weebs, whatever. And if you show up here, we'll do that. And if you have questions, you can come to any of the things down below, that's scrolling down the below, and connect with us, and we'll chat. We'll pray with you in the chat over there, over here, and we'll do all the things that we need to do to help connect someone to the local church. And actually, we're kind of partnering with a few guys that's their whole mission online is to do that, is kind of connect people in other people's local community to a church. And so we got connected with some of them, and they've been real amazing, kind of just chatting with us and trying to do that. So with that being said, it's time to get this show on the road. 14 of you here. Hopefully everybody has hit the like button, because it is time for the show. Go follow Paeter, go follow Eric and everybody in the chat. But it is time for space exploration movies. Now, gentlemen, you haven't been on here. I'm about to redo my entire channel, name change and everything. Cool. Hey, look, I'm here for it. And Justin, we need you back on the channel soon. So here's the thing. We always say you need a criteria. Now, I know both you guys haven't been on the channel. Everybody out in that space over there in our chat kind of know this. Criteria is important because what we understand, what we've evolved this to be, is that the Rushmore is your personal favorites. It's your personal Rushmore. It's your personal mountain. This is the mountain you're going to put on your mantle, not necessarily on my mantle. And we got it from the talking heads in sports. We love sports, and some of the sports guys, they'll be like, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Who's the greatest basketball player of all time? And they would call him the Rushmore, right? Who's the best baseball player of all time? It's a lot easier probably to give 4 and then accept the number 1, because the number 1 always makes an argument. And just talking about football, which is kind of the one that everybody kind of can lean into. Most people, we had a guy that just retired for 20 years and 7 Super Bowls, went to like 50, and many people would say, oh yeah, Tom Brady's the greatest, but not everybody's going to have him on this mountain, because we're talking about your favorites. Many people can't stand him. If you're from New York, right, you definitely don't like him because your Giants beat him twice and the Jets get whooped by him every week. And so when you lean into like nerdy things like this, some of us might like a certain fandom more than another, or you might have watched it with your dad, or you might have spent time with your kids, or probably age differences. So I'm 46. I am usually 80s, 90s is my go-to. Andy's in his mid 30s. He's normally a 90s 2000 guy. And we veer on both sides a little bit, but sometimes people come in the chat and you're like, how is that on your mountain? Well, you didn't listen to our criteria because that's important. So we're going to start off. And Eric, since you came on first, let's go with you first. Eric, tell us what you were thinking when you, and you actually picked this topic, matter of fact, and Paeter joined in. So what were you thinking when you were like, these are my 4 favorite? Now, don't give any picks away yet. Just kind of like, what was that?
My criteria or...
Yeah,
Yep.
criteria.
So I was thinking about that, and a big part of my criteria is if they are actually, if either the main character or several main characters are really going someplace new. So one you're not, that I'm a big fan of, that I'm not going to be talking about, is Star Wars. If you watch A New Hope, for Luke it might be exploring, but for Han, for Leia, for Obi-Wan, they've all been all over the galaxy. They're not exploring. They're on a mission. So I'm looking for shows where either one significant person or several significant people are really exploring and going someplace new or doing something new in space.
Okay. All right. So I like that. You're harping on the exploration side of things, which is cool.
Right.
Because I have a sense that there's going to be some differences tonight, which is really cool. It's going to kind of broaden.
We always have. So let's just throw this out there for our new friend, Andy. And this is always our go-to. But there's a couple of mine that. What was the one that I kind of trip people out on, Andy? And it was a couple of weeks ago. They were like, "Really? You really picked that?" Anyways, we always kind of lean back into war movies. And Andy,
and I hold to these picks, by the way.
Well, listen, and war. These are war movies, but listen. We said, what are your top 4 favorite war movies? And Andy doesn't like war movies. Well, at least the ones that we were talking about. So Andy comes out and he comes in with his 4 favorite war movies. That is Mulan, 300, Star Wars, and Forrest Gump. And none of those were on any of our ratings. But he stands by it because war is in the title. Right, we've talked about that. 300 is definitely a war movie, just not in the same vein that most people were thinking. And then Mulan's the one that always gets me. It's
no. Pause. Let's rehash this. Let's rehash this. You take war out of Mulan, nothing happens in that movie.
Yes.
It's literally what the whole movie's about.
I know.
Why did they have to make a man out of her
also,
had it not been for a war?
For all our gamers out there, he also picked Pokemon Snap as his number 1 favorite shooter of all time.
Shoot 'em up. It's a rail shooter. It's a rail shooter. It's just you exchange bullets with photography.
Anyway, so it really comes down to criteria. So Eric,
thank you, Justin.
Mulan is 100% a war movie. Now, Justin, we know. If we definitely kept Mysticles is in the house. I see Mysticles. Oh yeah, Mysticles, great, fun channel, video game channel. Go follow him. And give.
Hey, this is only going to make sense to Justin real quick. Justin, go check out Mysticles' channel and tell me that because I sent it to David Lee this week is literally his doppelganger. Makes sense to nobody else, but that's just a message for Justin. Go check out Mysticles' channel. Tell me it doesn't look like David Lee.
Hammy must have just hit some big deals. 800, man, great job.
Come on now.
You're doing some giveaways. Sweet. Well, he's a Packers fan. So by the way, if you're a Packers guy, there it is. So Mysticles, thanks for being here. We love you, man, and it's good seeing you. All right, so Eric, back to you. So we call the number 4. That's where we start. Rosie for Roosevelt, and that's our fun name for calling him Rosie. And here's another thing. We had a guy on the show the other day who was like, man, I named my kid after Roosevelt. He should be the number one. See, I mean, like, it's just a bit of a little argument, because his son's name's Teddy, or Theodore. So what's your Rosie, your number 4, and then we're all gonna just kind of chat about it and see where we go with this thing. So number 4,
All right.
Eric, you're up. Who's your number 4 on your mount?
My number 4 is the only one that really is more of a hard sci-fi, but it's not really even sci-fi. Apollo 13.
Yeah, good one. Good one.
I mean, Apollo 13 gives us a look at real life space exploration. It shows us what real life people have done to go out, and it showed us what may very well have been the scariest situation for anyone who's done it.
Yeah.
And we get to see some amazing actors portray. I mean, you've got both Gary Sinise and Tom Hanks in the same film.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, one of them, Gary, is stuck back on Earth, but he is working to help them overcome. And so they go out, they leave Earth, trying to get to the moon because they're still trying to explore the moon. And they get into the worst situation they can with a slight explosion that doesn't destroy the craft, but puts it to where they're almost completely disabled. And so they're out where very few humans have ever been. And it's a nice look at the reality that we as humans still have not explored space very much. We've looked out there with telescopes. We've made it to the moon a few times. But there's a lot to explore. And this shows us the courage and the strength that so many of our modern day explorers have shown in taking the step of leaving our atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a great. My favorite part about this movie, is the fact that Kirk's not here. I don't know what happened to Kirk, but anyway, I'll just add a little bit on that. He probably hit a little Wi-Fi snag there. The fact that Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump, after their shrimping venture, could then make it to space. Gary Sinise
Right.
and. But no, obviously a great movie. So you took a Benjamin away from me. So you're already taking away Benjamin picks from me, which is, I see it's going to be a fight tonight. No, this is a great movie. Kevin Bacon, how many of our movies are going to have Kevin Bacon in it tonight? So we'll see how many degrees of Kevin Bacon we have. Who else? Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Ed Harris. I mean, dude, this is a good crew on this movie for sure. And this is probably one that if you were gonna prior to putting together Rushmores, I always kind of I'll Google, even though if I know a ton of them, I'm just like, let me make sure I'm not missing any. Almost everybody, Apollo 13 is gonna make the list. This is a great movie. So, Paeter, you a fan of this one? Oh, he says
Yeah.
I
mean, Eric, that's such a great pick. I was so in a rut with in a sci-fi headspace, I didn't even think about Apollo 13. And then it's not even on my Benjamin's list, And so when you said that, I was like, oh crap, of course. That's that's a brilliant choice.
Yeah.
Wonderful performances. And I'm really drawn to character-driven stories. And that could have been not a character. It could have just been a very plot. Like and there is a problem to solve. They got to solve this problem. But you get a sense of personalities and what this means to them, and that gets me invested. I mean, that is a fantastic pick.
I love it. Apollo 13, way to go. Justin says he never saw it. What we got in the chat here? Let me make sure I'm catching up with these here. Yeah, that's pretty much all that we've heard about that one. But yeah, Apollo 13, great movie. Tom Hanks. I mean, what else do you have to say? He only puts out good movies, or at least he did.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, man. Well, that's a great start to our mountain. Apollo 13 is already off the list for my Benjamins. So I'm kind of already struggling. But with that in mind, Paeter, we're going to come to you next. Give us your criteria, because from what the kind of conversations we've had beforehand, we may be going a little bit different route here than what Eric did, which I love. I love that we have this wide range. What What were you thinking when you were putting this list together?
Yeah, I mean, I think even with my own criteria, I might get some pushback from people watching and listening. It's I don't even know if I fit into my own criteria, but like because I don't really feel drawn to movies about people exploring space. I typically think of Star Trek, and I was a huge Star Trek fan in the 90s. So anything that was on TV in the 90s, Next Generation on, all the way through Voyager, I mean, I was in for every episode once I discovered those shows. But I mean, like, I don't really think of space exploration outside of Star Trek, except for the odd movie like 2001 Space Odyssey or whatever. It's just not a genre that or a setting or a premise, maybe I should say, that I feel really drawn to. So I was just looking for, okay, I want to talk about good movies. I like recommending movies that at least I enjoy if no one else does, so that maybe someone listening will discover something good, even if it's not their idea of a space exploration movie. Nice. So I space, has to be in space. And there has to be a sense of exploration, a sense of discovery.
Okay.
But I'm leaving that pretty broad in terms of like exploration, discovery. What do we mean by that? Are we talking, of course, traditionally we would be talking about a place, a physical place that you're discovering, but at least one pick on my list is not about discovering a new place. It's about a different type of discovery happening in space.
I love that. Okay. All right. So first on the list, Rosie. We didn't say this just now, but Rosie typically is like the hardest one to place when you're making a top 4 list, because it's like the gatekeeper, like it's that one right there. Usually we know our number 1, sometimes maybe our number 2, 3, 4 get a little difficult, 4 for sure. So where did you go with your Rosie for space exploration films?
Yeah, well, this one could either be seen as unconventional or like an obvious one to a lot of people. But it's the classic Three Amigos in Space that is Galaxy Quest. That is a fantastic movie, especially if you come from a background of loving, Star Trek. Even if you weren't into like classic Trek, if you're into like, Next Generation and beyond, and just seeing these actors, these has-been actors that are kind of living in the past, and then that same premise, whether it's you're talking about The Man Who Knew Too Little or Condor Man or the Three Amigos, it's like somebody that's in an environment where suddenly they are not the real deal for what they're supposed to be in the mix that they're in with, and they're a total fish out of water, and they are having to try and just fit in. And I love that. And I know Alan Rickman is so much more well-known as Snape, but like, this is my favorite role of his. And I won't spoil the ending, but there is a bittersweet scene between him and another character that just tugged at my nerdy heartstrings. And it was like a really emotional moment. Like, and it's really kind of dorky too. So it was amazing that he could be accomplishing both things at once, satisfying this nerd craving, and then like, oh man, making me well up with tears. Fantastic performances. Interesting characters that are each coming from a different place, and the fish out of water. I love fish out of water stories. So yeah, Galaxy Quest. I wanted to fit it in somewhere.
Yeah, this is great. If you know me, on the show, I love comedy. So the fact that we can throw comedy in here too. Tim Allen. I mean, Justin Long, Tony Shalhoub, like you said, Alan Rickman in here, and even Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson is in this movie too. So
that's right.
You do have him. But yeah, man, this is. So you just mentioned Eric put Apollo 13, and it wasn't even on your radar. Galaxy Quest, like for whatever reason, didn't even like. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to think about in this one. It would have been a Benjamin you probably took from me anyway, so I knew it'd be gone. But great movie, and I know Kirk is a Tim Allen fan. We already have Woody and Buzz Lightyear in our picks so far. We got Tom Hanks, and now we've got the actual space explorer.
My bad, guys. For whatever reason, my internet is not working. So I had to go to my phone, and so I'm gonna have my list is on my phone. So I'm gonna be scrambling here in a second to write. Huh?
You got this. You're gonna
Oh,
explore.
I know my list, but I won't have any information. I'll have to go off the top of my head because I did some work. But anyways, both of these are Benjamins, and had both of them. Apollo 13. Oh, let me just say this: both of them were a Rosie at one time or another for me, and I took them off just because of criteria. Galaxy Quest. Well, let me talk about Apollo 13 real quick. Love that movie, great cast. And I was listening to you guys on my phone while I was trying to get back in. I don't know what the heck's going on. But one of my things about my criteria is always cast when it comes to movies. And both of these have extremely great casts. Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest, I found it in my list tonight to get it with Benjamin. When I actually started tapping into, there's at least 6 comedic parody space movies that kind of came in some of my lists at one way or another, and Galaxy Quest is one of my favorites of it. I do love Tim Allen. I'm a huge Tim Allen fan as far as his TV moments. Home Improvement and Last Man Standing are 2 of my favorite. And then he's just a really cool guy. But don't forget. I mean, that what I love about this movie is when you take one kind of aspect and you flip it on its head, and the fish out of water type thing, and you bring them out, and all of a sudden they're like, I love the idea that they're like, wait a second. This isn't a movie, and they the whole time they think it's a movie. And you mentioned it. I heard you say it, Paeter. The whole Three Amigos thing, which is a great movie as well, and 3 of my favorites. But I just love that idea, and so I agree. This one deserves to be spoken about tonight, and I'm glad someone did it. Now I'm gonna hopefully be scrambling for some of my honorable mentions. I have a ton of honorable mentions, but if you guys keep going at this route, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think about this one? You're a Galaxy Quest fan?
Yeah. Yep. It was great.
Yeah.
Fun and the right kind of poking fun at other movies.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's a good way to start our mountain. Kirk, I'm up right now, right? Huh? 3rd?
You are.
Yeah. So criteria for me, I'm going to be kind of similar to Paeter there. Just kind of, I love space. Well, I have a broader knowledge, I guess, of space movies. When you throw in exploration as kind of a caveat there, it gets a little bit more difficult. But there's, just like Paeter said, there's some element of exploration in all of these movies. Space is involved for sure in all of them. But it may not be, like you said, being necessarily exploring space, right? But all of these movies are great movies, right? So, and they're ones that maybe I haven't really talked about as much before because we haven't really gone into this realm of movies. So I'm excited to talk about some of these ones that I'm not really used to talking about. It's going to be a lot of fun. So with my Rosie, if you know me, you know that I'm a huge fan of this type of movie. I love all that this guy does. In fact, in a couple weeks, we're going to be talking about one of these types of movies with a friend of ours on their channel. I'm going Jim Henson's Muppets from Space for my Rosie. Now, here's why. Yeah,
nice.
Are they going to space to explore? Maybe not. But Gonzo is doing a whole bunch of self-exploration.
Right.
He's figuring out, who am I? Right? This is a very deep one right here. For the longest time, we all knew Gonzo was an alien. We knew Gonzo he doesn't have a direct animal that you would tie him to. But Muppets from Space is going to be my Rosie, my pick here again. he gets a message from space, and he's not just a whatever, as he says, but he's an alien, and his family's trying to contact him. So in a sense, they're actually exploring Earth in that sense. But man, it's an emotional movie. It's a deep movie, but it's all of the things you want in a Jim Henson Muppet classic. It's all of the just the classic comedy and things that are involved with a great story. I love all things Jim Henson. I've got Animal right back here. So I'm that. My first tattoo was Animal. As a drummer, that was my graduation present from high school. Thanks, Mom, for signing off on that for me. But yeah, I had to put Muppets from Space in there. The reason it's at the Rosie and it could potentially be higher. I have not watched this movie in quite some time. It's not my favorite of the Muppet movies. However, it's a great one. There's not much that Jim Henson did that I'm not a fan of. In a couple weeks we're going to be talking about Muppet Treasure Island, which has a strong case for the #1 Muppets movie of all time. Obviously, I'm a big Muppets Christmas Carol. Oh, I froze for a second on my end. Muppets Christmas Carol. So yeah. Anyway, Muppets from Space. My Rosie for space exploration movies. I'm not a stranger to being controversial here. Oh, where'd Kirk go? There you are, Kirk. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
I'm back on my regular.
This might be my kind of Mulan pick, but have at it. What do you guys think about Muppets from Space?
Well, I love. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know what's going on with this.
Okay, I'll jump in. Yeah, I'll jump in for a second here. So, I should have known from seeing Animal in the background on your shelf, but when you were setting that up, I was not hearing Muppets coming out of your mouth next. So, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I've not seen that movie. I am glad to hear that you're a fan of Jim Henson. We'll circle back to that later.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Yeah. I like that.
So my internet might bounce in and out. We restarted it, and I think I'm good now. But let me just give you some things that I didn't get to do for Paeter and Eric's pick, because we're in movies. So let's see what this movie's all about. So Muppets in Space, 1999, considered family comedy, hour and 23 runtime. Let's see what it gets in the good old ratings.
Was that directed by Jim Henson, or he had passed away by then, right? So this would have been Brian Henson.
So
this was directed by Tim Hill. Tim Hill.
Yep, 6.2 on IMDb, 63% in Rotten Tomatoes. I knew you were going to have. Now, let me just say this. I had a feeling that Muppets were going to be mentioned today. Just didn't know if you were going to put them in your top 4. I saw it in a list, and I was like, I wonder if. Here's the thing. Sometimes, that's not like a prominent movie that would just come to the forefront all the time. And so sometimes I wonder if you just going to remember it. Oh, that they had a space movie. Did you remember the Muppets one? But once you think about these things and they pop in, you're like, these are like list shufflers. They're like, dang it, I've got to get this in. Scratch that one, move this, put that there. Good pick, man. Good pick. And yeah, we're doing Treasure Island soon with Cellcast. So that's gonna be fun. I love this. Yeah. I'm a prawn. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many good quotes in this one. Yeah, what Gonzo says, and I'm pulling it up just to have it. Gonzo says, "Hey Rizzo, come here. I think my Captain Alphabet is sending me a message." Yeah, I know what you mean. I had some guacamole last night, and it's still speaking to me.
So good. This was a fun choice because it reverses the exploration. It's something exploring Earth instead of us going out.
Yeah.
And we have to remember, sometimes space exploration comes to us instead of us going to it.
Yeah. Sure, I know I'm teetering a line on it being an exploration movie, and I get that, but that's just where I'm going to live tonight. It just is what it is. And there's no way I could not put the Muppets in my.
Yeah,
Muppets had to be there.
I'm excited where this is going. If I could nail my 8, that would be awesome. just because I really love what I have for my top 4 Benjamins. At least
Yeah.
3 of them are really awesome, and they're so nostalgic for me. So I guess it's my turn, and many of you are going to be like, "What? At Rosie? You're going there?" It's kind of how the Apollo 13 pick. I love Apollo 13. Great movie. It kind of falls back for me like rewatchable, right? Like that kind of thing. With that was the one that I was thinking of when I mentioned Titanic earlier. It's a great movie, great cast, but I don't know how often I'm like, oh yeah, Apollo 13's on, I'm going to watch it. My movies today, this is the one movie that kind of leans into Apollo 13 more dramatic, not as a it's not a real life telling of a story, but more of a made up story. And actually I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson today, and he was giving his favorite space movies, and this is the one that he said was the most accurate. That was dramatic, which was really cool. But I am going with The Martian for my Rosie, and man, what a fantastic movie! It could be number 1 for many. Oh wait, let me tell the criteria. I skipped my criteria because of all the mess. Criteria. I'm doing what you guys are doing as far as exploration, but I kind of nailed it. I kind of reined it back just a little bit. And I was really like, okay, one main character, the star, is going on an exploratory place. Like that one guy is really exploring. And sometimes they bring some friends with them, but mainly for the one person. And in this one, they go to explore Mars. Dust storm happens, which is the one thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson said was not true because the winds don't blow hard enough on Mars. He said, but he gives them a pass because everything else is just perfect in a physical and physics world. But basically, the main character gets trapped on Mars because they think he died in this storm. And then he's got to figure out a way to survive until they come back to rescue him. So he then, as a human, becomes the Martian, which is just really cool. So the exploration was they're exploring Mars. And oh, by the way, another thing I did, I took all my movies, this whole list that I had a real long list, and I threw it all in Chat GPT, and I said, tell me how much exploration is in all of these, and rank them high, medium to low. And all of my top 4, at least, they considered medium to high. So I will say that. None of them are in the low category. I'm going with The Martian, and it's just a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorite space movies of all time, and love it. Matt Damon is, he loves space movies too for some reason. But yeah, there you go.
I've not seen this one, so I have nothing to say about it. I like Matt Damon though, so
yeah, I think with The Martian, you have a good look at once we actually do make that push to go to other planets. We get a closer look at what that might be like. And so this is the reverse of Apollo 13. Apollo 13 says this is what it was like. The Martian says this is what it could be like.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Andy, he basically starts like he figures out a way to get water, and he has to solve the hunger problem. So he grows potatoes from that water using whatever, and then he starts to build his own kind of like biodome-ish, really, and surviving, and then figuring out the radio to get back and let them know, hey, y'all left me, and oh, you're still alive, we got to go back and get him. And it's just a really cool, it's a survival type, but it's almost kind of Castaway, right? He's by himself, kind of on this is like a deserted island type movie. Like he's there just kind of, the main movie is one character that like for predominantly. And you also see 2 different stories in this. You see the story of him on Mars, and then you see the story of Earth trying to get back to him. And so, and then they kind of meet at the end. So
nice. Paeter, what you think about this one?
Yeah, I've only seen it once. It was a long time ago, and it's like, yeah, it falls into that category for me of like, this is a solid movie, so I don't remember having any complaints about it. But if it's just solid, I'm going to tend to forget a lot of the details about it once it's over. And so I remember thinking, yeah, that was good, and then life happened, and I that memory got erased, So, but I don't remember having any complaints about it.
So that, I mean, no hate on that for sure. Definitely, The Martian is a really good movie. Isaac jumped in. Hey, Isaac. Isaac was going to be on in 2 weeks. Isaac, by the way, Fox, who's telling you hello, and another person.
Dylan.
Who's the other person?
Dylan Thibodeau. Great gardening movie.
Dude, I was about to say that. Dylan, great gardening movie. Yeah, he does do quite a bit of that, and kind of trying to raise some food, and you're kind of seeing his growing. But IMDb gives us an 8. Oh, it's 2015, 2.5-hour runtime, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. 91% is pretty high, man. 100% love the acting. It's a great movie. Most of the list that I saw today was at least in the top 5. And I was like, oh yeah, and I love that one. So that's where I'm going. That's how I'm starting this thing out.
I like it. All right. So there's our first round of picks. We got Apollo 13, Galaxy Quest, Muppets from Space, and The Martian. I mean,
quite a variety.
All over the place tonight.
Quite a variety. Since I have it, Apollo 13's 1995, 2 hours and 20 minutes, 7.7 on the IMDb. Whoa, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then the other movie is Galaxy Quest, and 1999, hour and 42 minutes, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. So Andy, you're behind a little bit in the percentages.
People on Rotten Tomatoes. Are we talking critic score or are we talking fan score?
Yeah, that's a Rotten Tomatoes. So 7.4 on fan score. Muppets got us by far.
I need the audience score. I don't care about critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Anyway.
Yeah, Isaac, I want to reschedule for sure. How about them Yankees, buddy? They are rolling. So, all right. So now it's back to you, Eric. This is our second round. We call him TJ Jazzy Jeff. I think Will Smith has a few space movies out there if you want to partner him with his old good buddy.
Exploring space, though?
There's none that he's really touring space, but there are some where he's in space. But anyways, you're up, Eric, and this is number 3 on the mountain before we hit our commercial break. Where are you going today? Right. You don't have to give criteria this time because we already know it.
From my cup that I'm a Star Trek fan.
Oh.
And if you follow my social media, you will see that I cosplayed as Commander Riker before, quite a bit. But you know what? Paeter beat me to it. Galaxy Quest.
Whoa!
There we go. Rushmore!
So yeah, it does a great job of poking just the right fun at Star Trek, while at the same time respecting Star Trek.
Well, here, this is for you, Eric. Hold on 1 second.
We have to make it official. Gotta make it official.
Gotta make it official. It's a Crushmore. All right, Galaxy Quest. So tell us what you love about Galaxy Quest.
Well, I love you have people who are pretty much in their own committed lives, and they don't really know much around them. I mean, even our famed captain doesn't really get what the fans want from him.
Yeah.
And so he's taken out of space, unknowingly being taken out to explore. And as he goes through this exploration and these challenges, it completely changes him and his crew. And they get a whole new focus on life. They get a whole new way of looking at life. And it's an exploration that doesn't just lead to some fun stories, but it leads to some depth, while at the same time making us laugh and poking fun at a tremendous show in a good way.
Yeah. I love this. I love this pick. Obviously, loved it when when Paeter brought it up. I was thinking, because I take context clues. When I asked you, I was like, "Hey, what do you think of Galaxy Quest?" You said, "I like it."
Yeah,
And
I was
thinking
like,
that was all you did.
he was like,
I was like, "Oh, he's holding on to something. I think that's coming back." Yeah. So
I was about to fish a little more, but I was like, we'll see. We'll
this is
see.
a good pick. Obviously, Galaxy Quest. We've talked about it. And welcome officially to the Rushmore Show, because now you have a Crushmore. So now you're in. You're in. Now that you got your first Crushmore, that's a great pick.
All right.
Eric, I also
So-
love, you mentioned that it pokes fun in just the right way at Star Trek. And it occurs to me that it also pokes fun in just the right way at geeks and kind of geek personalities
Yes.
and stuff. When you
It
think of
does.
Justin, is it Justin Longmore? Is that the actor's
Justin
name?
Long.
And
Yeah,
then Justin Long. And then the character of Quillick, who has that scene
Mhm.
that I won't spoil, with Alan
Yeah.
Rickman, where in both of those characters, you see that these are representing socially awkward, deeply insecure geeks, nerds, who just want validation of the thing they're really passionate about. And I feel like the movie for both
Yeah.
characters creates, even though it's making fun, like, yeah, we can be a little weird and we can do something strange to a social setting, but at the same time, it really brings out just the sweetness of really being wholeheartedly excited about certain things. And I feel like it rewards that. So yeah, I feel like it was poking fun at nerds and celebrating them at the same time.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
That's a good analysis, because that really, even like seeing everybody at the cons wanting to get their autograph, they're kind of like, pandering a little bit, and then it does show that quite a bit, and that's one of the reasons we love this movie, and it's funny. It's a classic to me. This is one of those ones, if it's on, I'm gonna finish wherever it is. Like, I'm just like, leave this thing on. We'll watch the rest of this.
Yeah,
because it's funny and it's got a great cast, and there's a lot of good one-liners. So hey, man, I'm glad. Yeah, welcome to the show, Eric. You have now officially got your first Crushmore. So which happens often.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, so we've already chatted about this one, so we can kind of catch up on some time. And now we are to you. But Paeter, I was going to say this. PCG. It's, by the way, I don't know if that's just autocorrect, but it's Paeter.
Yeah, Paeter.
Yeah, and so it's like that. So, but he says Peter Spirit Blade Productions. Oh, and by the way, PCG Derek is blind, and Poetically Christian Gamer, he's blind. He's a blind gamer, legally blind, and so he's probably speaking that into whatever, and that's what it came out. Anyways, so
Okay.
but he said Spirit Blade Productions. I enjoy your Christian review. So he's already gone over and checked you out, Paeter. So
Okay, cool.
While we're chatting, so you're up though, Paeter. So what's your TJ Jessica?
Okay, so this is where it gets a little unconventional in terms of exploration, and but I'm hoping that like a ton of people have not heard of this movie, and I can tell them about it right now. But that's Moon with Sam Rockwell. And it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it, but it is a movie in some ways like Martian, in that there is a man in isolation, in this case on a space station on the moon, and he is charged with a task that he must carry out in complete isolation with only like an AI to keep him company. About 30 minutes, I want to say, into the movie, there's a big reveal that is not spoiled in the trailers. And it totally causes him, for the rest of the movie, to need to really explore and discover who he is, because who he is turned upside down and on its head. And it's a heavy, it does have moments of comedy, but this is like an actor's movie. You like movies about characters and character development and riveting performances that are just really interesting to watch. Sam Rockwell is just given a fantastic opportunity to carry this movie almost literally by himself. There's also some visual effects in here that I won't spoil the nature of what they are, but of their kind, they are maybe the best I've ever seen. Even though this is a small kind of indie feeling movie, it's doing some fascinating stuff, powerful, emotional stuff. Highly recommend. If you've never heard of Moon and you like a sci-fi character drama, check this one out.
Yeah, so real quick before we chat it up, 2009 sci-fi mystery, hour and 37 runtime, 90% Rotten Tomatoes, 7.8 on the IMDb. And in a nutshell, it says it's melodramatic and mysterious. So I love Sam Rockwell, super underrated to me, great actor, just a great filmography. And this is a cool movie. I remember when it came out, the movie poster had all those like circles and stuff, and I remember like, man, I gotta see this. And just today I was kind of fumbling around. I was like, man, I never watched that movie. And so I'm gonna have to put this on the good old backlog, and I'm gonna have to throw it down and watch some Moon, because I do love Sam Rockwell. But I know it's a good pick. It's highly rated and everything.
Yeah, this is another one I haven't seen, but I do like the fact that Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah,
is the voice in this apparently.
Yeah,
so
he's the voice of the AI. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I wish Kevin Spacey was the voice of all of my AI.
Yeah.
That would be really.
Kevin Spacey's voice would be cool for GPS. Yeah.
He's got a good voice. He's just he's not a Morgan Freeman voice, but he's got a solid voice. Yeah, I haven't seen this one. This one does look interesting, but I will tell you this: when you use the words melodramatic for a movie, I usually check out.
I'm confused by that. I am confused. If by melodramatic they mean that like it's either mellow and dramatic, then okay, maybe. But like I think it's heavy in. Okay. I think it's heavily dramatic. So I think that's a mischaracterization to describe it as melodramatic.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, that's what the new Google AI says about it.
Well, there you go.
Kevin Spacey's trying to ruin his own movie.
Maybe Google is mad that Kevin Spacey did it for them, but he didn't voice it for Google.
Yeah, maybe.
I have not seen Moon. At least I don't remember seeing it. So I'm with you guys. I may have to
win-win.
Go back.
Now
all right, I've done my job.
Yes. So your job was completed. You're like, oh, hopefully I can talk this into everybody. So
well, it's summer now. I can add it to my list for sure. I don't know if my kids.
Man, I love that. So Moon. So anybody in the chat seen Moon? What do you think about it? Yeah, the dreaded.
Try not to spoil it.
Adds Moon.
So I do like those movies.
Everybody's
so let me ask you this: just
everybody.
without spoiling it, is it because it sounds like there's a very, you said 30 minutes into it, there's a big reveal, something happens. And again, without ruining it, is it a movie that you're going to rewatch? Because like what I think of is like, remember The Sixth Sense? Remember Sixth Sense is like a great one-time watch, maybe two times so you can get it again. But after that, once you know the twist,
all the red things and all the. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's the same. Otherwise, like if the reveal was near the end, it maybe would be that kind of movie. But I don't. No, this one is you watch it again to go on the character's journey again,
okay,
and the performance that carries you on it, right. And that's why you watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. That's good. Because rewatchability is a big thing for me, at least with movies. I don't know, it's not everybody. For me, it is. Great pick. Great pick. I like where we're going. I like that we're adding to the backlog, as we say, that never ends. But yeah, so for sure.
Oh, PCG. Look, man, and I didn't mean to say it that way that you might have thought that. I don't think Paeter was offended. Yeah, I was just making sure if you were typing it and you were going to look for him that you knew what you were looking for. That's
did he say something about maybe offending me? Because if so,
he said, you are right. I have to dictate my text, and I'm sorry that things get lost in translation. Did not mean to offend you, Paeter.
No, dude, when you have the name Paeter, you just learn to answer to anything except any spelling. I mean, like, I don't know what my parents were thinking. So,
yeah.
Is Paeter like what nationality, what
German
origin would that be? Is it
German?
German?
See, that's a good question, isn't it? Yeah. No, I think it's Scandinavian.
I was gonna say, is it like Norse or something? It sounds very like
that's my last name is Scandinavian. That's my heritage.
Okay.
Yeah. See, with Eric's, if someone spells their name wrong, gives a K instead of a C. Oh no! We're gonna fight over this.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. So Andy, you're up, man. Moon.
Yeah.
Moon on the backlog.
Yeah, this I keep freezing up. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's this transmission from Mars that's messing everything up. My next one. This is a heavy hitter. We want to talk about great casts. I mean, to me, it doesn't get much better than this. This cast, 1998. This movie comes out. I mean, literally, you can go to like it's insane. This cast. Also, side note, one of the greatest songs in a movie of all time. I'm gonna go Armageddon. Armageddon is gonna be my pick here, and I know like, hey, space exploration. Yeah, they're going into space. It's to save the Earth, right, from impending doom. But Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton, Steve Buscemi, Owen Wilson, Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, like, this movie is just crazy. And then I don't want to miss a thing. I mean, soundtrack, come on, dude. The animal crackers scene, like everything. This movie is just classic. I love this movie. I love Bruce Willis. You know, I know that we talk about him quite often as far as like just seeing the kind of he's got all of the health things and stuff. It's kind of tough to see now, but I think recently celebrated like 60th birthday, if I'm not mistaken, something. And it was like, yeah, it's just crazy to see him as that. But besides that, man, this movie, just a great movie. Oil drillers going into space to prevent this cataclysmic event, happening to the Earth. I love this movie. So in a sense, yes, they're exploring because they have to explore the options of how they're gonna defeat this thing, and just anyway, I don't know, I'm stretching it there, but yeah, this one is in space too. So Armageddon is going to be my pick for my TJ Jazzy Jeff. I love this movie. What do you think about? What do you guys think about Armageddon?
I'll let you guys chat about it.
I should maybe watch that again. I think that because I love Bruce Willis. I don't think I've ever seen Bruce Willis or a Bruce Willis movie that, or at least I didn't like him in. And I think when I think back to Armageddon, it probably gets colored unfavorably by all the movies since then that have tried to capture that kind of disaster movie magic. And it's just kind of like a rinse and repeat. And there's so many of them that are just like very forgettable and stuff. But that was really like one of the very first like epic disaster movies. We got to get all these different people with their different areas of knowledge to figure this out and find the solution. And so it was really like it started a lot of that major trend. And so I feel like I should probably give that one another shot.
Yeah, I will say the scene though, like whenever like they're saying goodbye through the screen. I mean, it's very emotional. It's
when
I don't want to close my eyes.
But when he throws Ben Affleck back in the thing, and
dude,
bro, that
Bruce Willis does it for all of the Earth.
Eric, is this a space exploration movie?
Well, you have some people who never thought they'd go to space, who get blasted into space, and they find themselves on a meteor, which they never thought they'd find themselves on before. And they have to take their skill from Earth and try to apply it on a thing that's moving much faster through the universe. And they get all sorts of shenanigans before they even go up into space. So it's a very fun movie. There was one of two movies came out within the same year. They were both about something coming from space that was going to destroy us, meteors coming down to destroy us. I tend to watch the other one a little bit more.
Okay.
But still a very solid movie. Still something that can make us think about how would we deal with the situation, right?
So,
and like if we did decide, okay, we have to put a team on it, like the reality is none of the drill teams here on Earth are prepared for space.
Yeah.
That.
And so Andy, I was on a good friend of ours.
It gives us a good chance to ask a what if.
Yeah.
I was on a good friend of ours podcast
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Fave 5 from fans. And we did our 5 favorite. What's up, Warren? This is my friend from the hood. My old neighborhood, Warren Clark in the house. Love you, man. Thanks for being here. Warren, when are we going to get you on the show? That's all I need to know. When are you coming on? And so let me just talk about Armageddon, though. Couple things. Certain movies bring you back to a certain time. There was a time where all my best friends, we were watching this movie. Probably the first time I ever cried in front of my best friends. Like I remember this like tremendously. And this was BC, so I was probably indulging in something I shouldn't have at an underage time. And yeah, it was a great movie. But on Fave 5 with fans, we did the top 5 disaster movies. This was my number uno. This is my favorite disaster movie of all time. And I didn't put it on today because when I put it in Chat GPT, matter of fact, I just pulled it up for you and said how much exploration is in this. Chat GPT was like, it is very low to moderate. And
that's all I need to know. I need a sliver.
Just a sliver. Just a sliver. And I was like, dang it, because I wanted
Just a tiny bit. At least a little bit.
I wanted this. Yeah, West Lawn, stand up, little kick point, pass point. Yeah, I really wanted this on my mountain today, but I had to draw some lines somewhere, and because some of mine are still, you can make the case that they're not. But I'm listening to.
I will say that Ben Affleck was exploring areas on Liv Tyler's body with the
with the animal cracker. Yeah,
I'm just saying, there's some exploration.
Right? Why is it called a cracker, right? Dude, I will say this. So we have, Andy, we have training montages coming up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we have training montages coming up with our friend Dusty Flotilla and Iowa Retro Gamer. And this could possibly be on my mountain.
Oh yeah.
Training montages when they are listening to ZZ Top and they're running through and oh gosh, such a good and they're fail. I want some animal crackers now. Thanks, Andy. I love this movie. Good job, man. Armageddon.
Yeah, well, Sprout here says, I want some animal crackers now. Yeah, in college, I used to get the big 2-pound bags of animal crackers because you got a lot of snack without a lot of money.
Yeah.
And animal crackers are yummy.
My favorite animal crackers, just
I know where you're going because of the goats.
Are at Dollar Tree.
Okay, maybe not.
No, they're at Dollar Tree and they're frosted. And
dude, the pink and white ones? Those pink and white ones are bangers.
Money.
That's the best ones ever.
They're money. They're still money.
Anyway, let's stop talking about food because that's November and December. Let's continue on this train of our TJ Jazzy Jeffs. Captain Kirk, what you got?
Yeah, so let me just make sure I'm correct. Yeah, this is my I'm gonna come in with my my more adult themed movie out of all my lists. This is the only rated R one on my list. And it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. And one of the things I did is I put some of my favorite franchises in, and I said, "Tell me which one has the most exploration." And this is the one that came out for this one, which I was like, yes, that's the one I thought. But I'm gonna go with 1979, what started it all. Sigourney Weaver, Alien, and bro, I absolutely love Alien. We talk about it all the time, and for this, the exploration level is medium. So this is a medium, because it says the crew is investigating an unknown planet leading to the discovery of alien life, and then all the stuff happens. Black, which turns off. Actually, Prometheus was the number one. This was the number two, but I like this one better than Prometheus. Although Prometheus is kind of like a telling. But Ridley Scott, rated R, Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Ian Holm. We all know the story, right? It's led on a huge franchise. Alien is awesome. It's one that I started rewatching last year during sci-fi, and I got to about the third rendition, which I remember going to the theater as a young kid. Man, what were my parents thinking? And I went to see Alien 3, which is the one that was in the prison and the alien's a dog and all that, which wasn't one of the best ones. It's one of my favorites because I went and saw it in the theater as a young kid. But I love Alien. When I think of space, this is one of those movies that just really pops in there. And I'm coming in TJ Jazzy Jeff, man. I'm going to finish off the first half of the mountain pretty hot with this one. And so, what do you guys think about Alien? It's the only horror. It leans on the horror lies too, and I don't really love horror, but I do love this. So
Yeah.
I have not seen Alien. I do know I play a lot of board games, and one of the ones that I've really enjoyed is an Alien themed game. It's called Nemesis, and it's very atmospheric.
Paeter's shaking his head. Have you played Nemesis, Paeter?
No, but I know of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
It great game, and some of my friends really love it. The reason why they love it is because of it's how it brings them into the story of Alien.
Yeah.
So 1979, hour 57 runtime, 8.5 on IMDb, another 93%. All of our movies except for Muppets are in the. There he is, Super Garbage Day. B. Ross is in the house. Guys, go follow this channel. It is amazing. All my game guys, go there now. Hit that thing up. Great channel. Fun. We can't wait to have you back on again, B. Ross. But 100% of the people love the acting. Academy Awards all over. And Sigourney Weaver. So I didn't want to mention it earlier, but yeah, Sigourney Weaver is making another showing on the channel.
Yeah, I remember seeing this as a youngin, and the just the effects in this movie were so like insane. The xenomorphs and like the scene with the chest buster like is just etched in everyone's mind. You know, Ripley when the thing's right up on the ear, and like there's some scenes in there you're like, golly, how did they do this stuff? You know, at this time, and then it's continued over time, and we've had a whole saga out of it. But yeah, I love this pick. This is one that I kind of etched in for you. I didn't know where it was going to be, but I figured you'd talk about Alien because we talk about it plenty.
Yeah, Alien's great. Alien 2 is really good. Alien 3 we kind of dip. And then for whatever reason, they rewrote it, redid it with Predator and Prometheus and all that. They kind of reborn it back again. We got Covenant and all these other things. I've really got to just sit down 1 year, and watch all of them again because it is a cool little franchise. I like it.
If you watch them all again, try to get your hands on the extended, like what would be the director's cut of 3. It totally changes the experience. I love the Alien franchise. I mean, I am a big fan. You better believe I'm going to be watching the Hulu show and talking about it when it comes this summer. It's I think just weeks away now. And I think Alien is an oversight on my part. It should have been somewhere either here or in my Benjamins. I was when I thought of it, I was thinking of just all the stuff happening on the ship, and I forgot that it all started because they explored that planet and then it all went to crap after that. But like, oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan of that whole franchise. This is a great pick.
Yeah. I did that too. I same exact thing. I was like, what did they actually explore? Did they like it? It's so funny when you think back and you're just like, I felt like the whole movie was on the spaceship. The whole franchise was on the spaceship. And then I was like, oh yeah, which one was the best? Because I just love this franchise. And I have a lot of really fond memories. Two of our favorite words here, Paeter and Eric, are nostalgic and iconic. To me, this is super nostalgic. Okay. This brings me right into hanging out with certain friends. Matter of fact, Warren might have came over to the house and watched. I don't know. I remember being with friends watching this. And the funny thing is, back in the late 80s, right? So I would have been like in the 10-ish range. Our parents were much more lenient. I would not let my 10-year-old watch this. I just would. And so, and that even if I wasn't sick, I don't think I would. Like, it's not like the whole, oh, you got to be so wholesome and Christ-like and whatever. It's just that there's a lot of just things that I don't think are needed for a 10-year-old. And I remember it, but it's very nostalgic to me. So Prometheus is my favorite, says Adam, but it is very different and perhaps could be better not associated with the. See, I didn't. I'm going to be completely honest. The first time I watched Prometheus, I didn't even know they were related until I kind of dug deeper and rewatched and was like, oh, I'm seeing where they're going now. I didn't put it all together. And Justin says he didn't like Prometheus. Aliens, which is part 2, add the S, was my favorite. I do love it. I do love it. Yeah. Pandora maybe isn't the best as far as approachable the content reasons, but it was a creepy space horror. There is one other space horror movie that is just etched in my brain, and I would not put that one. But and I don't think any of you guys are going to pick it either. But I might.
Is it Jason X?
Dude, that was a fun movie when I was into that. I didn't mind that, but yeah.
Jason in space.
The music from that movie was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. There's that.
Yes, there it is. It's this one.
Yeah.
Event Horizon. Have we seen this?
I haven't.
Oh my god!
I think I've seen it once. It's a long time
dude,
ago.
that is a creepy film. If you like horror, space, that is creepy. That's a creepy. Yep, Justin, you're right. So, anyways, that's halftime. So, Andy, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And we're a little past time. Actually, we're gonna do some catching up. And so let's do some rolling. Event Horizon is a great movie. Yep, Fox. It's not a bad movie. It's just creepy. So a couple things. Number one, our next convention is coming up soon, in August, and that is, or is it late July? So we have Pelican coming up. We have Louisiana RetroCon coming up, and we have potentially Cajun Con. That's the one we're praying for. And we have another St. Tammany Collectors Con coming up in September. That's 4 more to end the year. And then David's not in the chat yet, but he usually shows up right around now. David has asked us to come and do Augusta Video Game Expo, which is here in Augusta, Georgia. So that's another one. And what we do, and this isn't anything new to our friends on the panel today, but we come to the show, we kind of do the fan table thing, and we've become the MCs. So we walk around, we interview people, we get on the stage, we interview a lot of the actors and guests and whatever for the panels, and we do a lot of giveaways and whatever we can do to help the people there. And they have allowed us to preach a nerdy message, and we usually tailor it to the show. And so this next one is for Louisiana RetroCon is Super Mario Brothers. So it'll be probably a Super Mario themed message. Andy, Pelican did give us their theme. Do you remember it?
They did. So they're celebrating
celebrating
bicentennial. It's like some America's birthday thing. So
yeah, they're celebrating America's birthday. Yeah,
there's another theme in it too. I forget exactly what it was.
Do y'all need any help with the conventions? Yeah, I need you to pray for them, and sometimes Andy needs help because I can't make it. But yeah, Justin, if you ever want to come,
you want to join the table? Come on, come
join the table. Come on in. So with that being said, speaking of tables and our friends on the panel, they're writers and we're aspiring writers. Andy is writing a allegory Christian children's book, Hiccupopotamus. Say that. Did I say it right?
Yeah, it's Hannah the Hiccupotamus.
Hiccupotamus. And anyways, so he's writing a Christian themed children's book, and I am writing a Portal fantasy, Lord of the Rings, Narnia type book that is Christian allegory as well. I'm in the last chapter. I'm going to finish that Joker this summer for sure, because I want to go back and re-edit everything. I think I'm in chapter 30 now. So I'll be finishing that up. That's a 20-year. Listen, this is a 20-year project that I'm finally almost done with. But I've also jumped in the pool, and I'm not a writer, if I'm being honest. That's why it's taken me 20 years. But I've been so inspired by amazing guys like the guys on the panel today to do some Christian devotion. So I ordered several of these from guys that had either been on the show. This is the one person that hasn't been on the show. I just saw it while I was finding these. But Nerd of Godcast, they are he's supposed to come on our show sometime in the fall, talking with Tony. And Andy, I forgot to give you your copy. I forgot to bring it. So I have a copy for this for you. We were talking about Hector earlier. Here's two of Hector's. He just put out number 10. He just was posting about it. But Hector, this is book 1 and book 9. I got to get all of them. I love what he's doing so much. And then these guys, Finding God in Video Games. We've connected with them. Potentially going to be on a nostalgia. But we're writing 6. Well, I'm dreaming of 6 books because we have 6 topics here. We have movies, TV, we have video games, music, nostalgia, food, and sports, and movies and TV are together. That would be 6 books, and I'm already started on the video game book, devotional. So that one's going to be a daily devotion similar to this one. So been working on that. Those will be coming out soon because we want some material and some things to hand to our nerd friends, our geek friends, our weeb friends, our furries and cosplayers that show up at these conventions. And look, we love you. This is for you. And so that's one of the things we're working on for that. I would love to get everybody else's stuff. Good one, PCG. What did PCG say? In conjunction with the village. Oh, yeah. Yeah, period, because Hebrews. Yeah, so speaking of that, I'm actually drinking coffee tonight, Andy. I was. And we got to share our favorite coffee, who's also in the Summit Squad and a friend of ours. And it's the official coffee of the Rushmore Show. So let's share that with everyone.
Check it out. Well, let's talk about Village Coffee, the official coffee of the Rushmore Show.
Let's face it, at-home coffee can be pretty stale. Coffee at home doesn't have to be boring. The Village Coffee is here to deliver the flavor. The Village Coffee roasts coffee every week and sells online. Go to villagebeans.com to order your coffee today and use discount code Rushmore for free shipping.
There you go, man. Discode. The discount is literally not going to help us at all, but we will help our good friend and co-worker and our pastor's son who's on staff with Andy. And he is the roaster of the Village Coffee. And it's some good coffee. Andy, we talked
Also, by the way, I brought it up, I think, last week, kind of in passing. We should have a Rushmore roast. So I brought it up to Cade this past week at church, and he just gave me a big smile. So there may be a Rushmore roast soon.
Let's do it.
So he seems on board.
The roasts are Ethiopia, Mexico, Colombia, and
Brazil.
And Brazil's the one I haven't tasted yet.
Yeah, it's brand new.
And then they're coming out with some cold brew.
And now you can buy cold brew concentrate on their website too. You can buy a jug of cold brew.
Check out the villagebeans.com. And we got one more friend to share, and then we'll get this show on the road. So I've already talked about him multiple times. He was in the chat earlier. He is the guy that was doing the board game. Francisco is doing a board game called Junkyard Juggernauts. And let's chat about our good buddies, Francisco and Paul J. Powers at pauljpowers.com.
Every other week, join the Retro Rewind Pod as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco, Paul, and rotating guest hosts who are all out of time.
There you have it.
So that is it for that. And look, while we're here, Spirit Blade Productions, right? And nerdchapel.com. You can find their books and all their stuff that they're doing. Go check them out. And we'll give more of that later. But Andy, if you want to type that in the chat, that'd be awesome for them. And so let's start this thing up again. Eric, let's finish this mountain and get ready to go to bed. So number 2 on your mountain, we call him Link. There's a missing link probably out there in space. So Link is for Abraham Lincoln, number 2 on the mountain. What is your number 2 favorite space?
My number 2 is kind of the flip of what I got one. In this one, the lead character is very much exploring, but it comes to Earth. Now, this is one of those movies that had a remake that nobody wants to talk about because it wasn't very good. But the original, 1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay.
Michael Remy, it's his only movie he ever took the lead role in, and he does an amazing job. So he comes to Earth in a spaceship, and he parks right in the mall in Washington, D.C. And everyone lines up. The military comes out, and he exits the spaceship. And one Army trooper gets scared and shoots him as he's trying to pull something out of his jacket, which turns out was a gift for the president. That's very early on in the movie. But what I love about this is you have a guy who comes to Earth. He brings a message, and they tell him, we can't get all of the leaders from around the world to meet together with you. They will not physically come and meet together with you because they don't want to be in the same room. And his response is to rather easily, apparently, break out of the hospital. He hears him lock the door, and he just grins. And he breaks out, and he goes and explores Earth, not to try and convince anyone, not to get an edge up, but because, hey, I need to understand these people, and I need to understand why they won't meet together. And so he gets out, and he tours around DC with a kid, and learns about us and our culture, and gives us this amazing opportunity to have someone explore our culture. And it becomes a perspective, like this wonder, so if an alien comes visits us, how are we actually going to treat them? And in comparison with other things going on, do our little fights here on Earth really matter? Now, in the remake, the reason why the remake wasn't so good is because they flipped his motivation, and he came more as a judge than someone to invite us into a intergalactic connection group. And they turned it from being about us learning to go away from violence to being about eco stuff and whether or not how we're treating our Earth. So they gave the lead character a completely different motivation in the remake.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish.
So yeah, 1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still. My mom raised me on 1950s sci-fi, and got me into Godzilla movies at a very young age. But this is one that she and I watched together all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very significant movie for me.
I say this often, and I don't know why, because my parents are very elderly. They're both gone now, but when my parents had me, they were just shy of 40, just barely shy of 40. And so born in the late 70s, everything that they loved was from the 40s and 50s. And as a kid, I think it was mainly because I was the last of 5. I did not want to watch and listen to things that my parents wanted to watch and listen. And so I am almost the opposite. Like my dad, he loved just old music, and I talk about that quite a bit. Like, he would never put the radio on anything new. watching TV as a kid. I remember, you watched what was it, the movie channel, and everything black and white. And today, I mean, even if it's a new movie, if it's black and white, I just lose interest. Like Schindler's great movie, such a great movie. I watched it not long ago. I'm like, man, I wish this thing was in color. This is driving me crazy. I don't know what it is. I think it just has to do with all that back in the day as a little kid. I just can't get into old movies. And like even so, I know like Nathan is big with the kaiju. He's coming on for kaiju, by the way. Eric, if you want to jump in with us later in the year. And I am 100% all new kaiju. Like anything that is like post 1985 or something. Like I am just not into it. Like I remember as a little kid watching it with mom and dad, but I know this movie historically is at the top of the list for greatest movies of all time. And I'll share some things. 1951. Again, good thing you didn't go the new one, Eric, because you would have fell below Muppets. Okay, but you stuck with your guns on 51. It's an hour and 32. It's a short movie. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. But
Yes. Yep.
2008, 21%. Yeah. Godzilla minus zero, the best guy. Listen, it's the best one I've ever seen. I love it. But I'm not, again, I don't go back and watch the old stuff though. But fantastic pick. Eric says Fox. So what do you think of this movie, Andy and Paeter?
Well, for me, it's not one that I've seen, but what I was going to say was, and I haven't even seen the remake, but you did mention that they changed it to kind of an environmental theme. I feel like there was a window of time, because that remake was 2008, where every movie that was coming out, especially in like the sci-fi realm, was that whole environmental. There was something like, we're messing up the earth, and here's these giant aliens that are going to teach us a lesson. Right. You know, like
the day after tomorrow, and
that was kind of what we were doing back then. So I didn't see that one. I do love Keanu Reeves, but seems like a pretty forgettable remake, at least. I've not seen this, but what I will say, I did like to watch a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000 with my dad.
You've mentioned that.
Okay.
And this was the kind of movie that they would roast or, review. Something about that show was just, maybe it's just the nostalgia tied to watching it with my dad, but it's kind of how I watch movies now, where I'll just like, either quote it or just like add in my own lines and things. But yeah, I do like the old sci-fi kind of movies. I wouldn't say it's like my top favorite, but like watching some of those things and look like just the effects of what they had to work with.
Right.
Is just awesome. I love it.
It sounds like, and I might be just throwing a Hail Mary out there. No pun intended. It sounds like, Eric, this is a type of movie that you would write a Nerd Chapel on.
Yeah, well, I have an entry on Klaatu, the lead of this movie, in the Fantastic 42, A Fellowship Facing Doom with Hope, which is our third book.
Nice.
It came out a couple years ago in 2021.
Paeter, do you like this movie?
It's been a really long time. I think I watched it while doing some other things to get ready for the remake, which I also didn't like. But one thing that's really striking, just revisiting that plot point about the misunderstanding and the president, and just there was a period, a long period, and we're still kind of, I think, in it, where you weren't going to see many movies that are going to point to the humans having a problem, like a moral problem. In the late 90s, in the early 2000s, the sentiment was people are all basically good. We would hear that a lot. Right. They're basically good. We don't hear that near as much anymore. And even the follow your heart, do what feels right mantra has slowed down a bit. because I think the internet came and we realized, oh crap, people are terrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's still, but to look back on that plot point in this kind of movie, it's like, yeah, that really is refreshing. And just on that level alone, I appreciate that it
Dude,
goes
this is
there.
great. Look at this.
Fern Gully. Yeah, it's not new necessarily. I mean,
Yep.
It's been a thing, but
Oh, here he is, Augusta Video Game Expo. I told y'all he was going to come on. We were just talking about the expo, man. Put the expo in the chat, David, and yeah, he invited us to come and be a part of that. But yeah, finish, Paeter.
Cool.
Sorry.
No, I mean, that's all I had to say. It's like, despite this being a classic movie that's, is revered, but on the other hand, many people haven't seen it. It does have a refreshing aspect in that it challenges the state of the human condition and suggests, it dares to suggest, oh, we might be a little bit broken. We kind of have a problem that we don't seem able to fix. So we've got to figure out what the solution to the core human moral problem is going to be.
I will say this. I didn't think of the alien being the space traveler to Earth rendition, and I might have to do a retro rewind revisit and add some more things to my list, because I can think of a few that go that direction that might be good. So Andy, I'm sorry, Paeter, you're up for your link.
Okay, so yeah, my number 2, Prometheus. We don't got to talk about it much. We've already kind of touched on it, but I mean, man, they are exploring. They're exploring space. They're trying to discover the origins of humanity. They go out there, they explore, and what's there is bad. It is getting in their bodies and doing horrible things. I'm a big fan of body horror and sci-fi horror type stuff. And like I said earlier, big fan of the Alien franchise. I think that I would say that Prometheus is my favorite of all of the Alien franchise movies. Yes. Yeah. Even though I know it goes off the beaten path, I think I've just been reading comic books long enough that I'm more accepting in the last 10, 20 years of different creative takes on things, because that's what you deal with every 9 to 12 months with comic book creative teams, So, yeah, I was okay with them trying something new, and it really,
you know what? You bring up a
me.
great point there, Paeter, and this is one of the biggest complaints I have with fandom. Andy and I have talked about this before. If it's a big franchise, whether it's in sports, movies, video games, TV, whatever it is, people do not like you to venture off and do something off the beaten path. And I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
My thing is not that, oh, you're ruining my childhood, but you're enhancing my children's childhood. Thank you for bringing it back, because it might not be my Star Trek or my Star Wars or my Lord of the Rings but it is definitely my kids, and they love it. So I'm okay with it. I love it. I love a little bit of a newness, and I don't hate on Disney because they do weird things, right? I just don't. Like, I hate them for other reasons, but not because of messing with movies. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, that's a whole. I'm glad you brought that up. Hey, Christina, our favorite person that just loves to share everybody. Christina Payne has a great channel. Go check her out, and she will share all of your stuff if she has time, whenever she shows up. She's really good at that. So Prometheus was just boring to me, but then again, I'm not a huge fan of space movies. More of fantasy Middle Earth type. Yeah, I'm that guy. I love fantasy Middle Earth too. That's why I'm writing my book in that direction. David Bryan says, "Hey, Christina." So, Prometheus, great movie,
real
great
quick,
take.
Sprout, if you like fantasy, in terms of books, check out C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, because he does it from a medieval perspective. He writes science fiction from a medieval cosmology.
Yeah, that is very good. That is a very good suggestion. Hey, 18 people are here, and I haven't said this in a while. Please, before you head out, hit the like button and help us out just getting out the word. That would be great. And so, Andy, so have you watched the newer ones, the Prometheus, any of that?
So no, I have not watched Prometheus, but when you say Prometheus, I can't help but be a '90s Nickelodeon kid and think of Kablam and Prometheus and Bob, the shorts, the claymation shorts, where it was an alien who went back in time and met a caveman, and they're like
That might be
comparing
where they got it from.
technology. All I think is Prometheus and Bob.
Hey, look, our favorite cartoon guys in here, and Kingdom Hearts friend Drew is in the house. Drew, thanks for being here. We got some old friends in the chat. And go follow Cellcast. He does amazing things. He's a part of the Culture Box. We shared Francisco today, but we share Cellcast is who we're going to be on doing Treasure Planet. So we'll be on his show. So go and check that out for sure. All right, Prometheus. So, Andy, you're up.
Yeah, well, my next one is my link is going to be the footage of Katy Perry traveling space. No, it's not. I had to throw that in there just to try to be kind of relevant. I'm going to go, my next one, man, these two movies, my Link and my George, are actually, now, go back in time with me a little bit. When I was when I was teaching towards the end of the year, I was a computer lab teacher, so I would show movies every now and then, especially towards the end of the year. And in order to kind of okay them with my principal, there had to be some form of technology involved with the movies, or something to do about computers and different things like that, that kind of stuff. So these two movies fit into that. One of the movies that I showed, which is not going to be one that I pick, but I would always show Ralph Breaks the Internet because that was just fun to do. But this one for sure was one of those movies that I was showing. It's another movie, 2008, has an environmental theme to it. And really, the whole point of this movie is that, man, we messed this thing up, and we went and we explored something else, and we're about to mess that up too. And it comes from a very cute little Pixar character. I'm going Wall-E. Wall-E. Dude, this movie is so, like, how do you get so emotionally attached to a cleaning robot that literally just makes no, I mean, it's so crazy. But there's so much emotion that's in this. I mean, the first half of the movie when he's like exploring this dystopian, of everyone's left Earth.
Just in time for Cellcast to show up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, but in order to the first half being all about this, just how the world's gone crazy, and then the second half we get into the point where everybody's fat and lazy, but now it's just in space and everybody gets everything done for them, and then just kind of all the corruption that's behind all of that. It's a great, great movie, but it's so cool that the robot is actually exploring space where the people are, which is just a weird, or the spaceship, right, where people are. I love this movie. Wall-E is just a great, great, great movie. It's a rewatchable like crazy. To me, it's one of the most underrated of the Pixar movies. Yeah. When you come out and you talk about, obviously, your Toy Stories and all those big hits and everything, but Wall-E deserves its praises for sure. This is a beautiful movie. There's a lot of exploration that's happening in that side of things, but yeah. What's that?
Drew needs to review Wall-E.
Dude, I'm in, man. Sign me up to come review Wall-E. I love this movie.
This is a Benjamin of mine. And
you go.
It literally was as high as 3 today or this week.
EV.
And I took it off. And it's on my Benjamins. But so I've lost 3 Benjamins now.
I also love the fact that Fred Willard is the president in this one as himself.
I love the whole scene where they're all just fat and lazy, sitting in chairs and just still floating around the world. I feel like that's the direction I'm going right now, and I'm glad it's summertime and I need to get back together. But you've redeemed yourself. I am redeemed. Like you've had a reboot, Andy. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, no, you can't tell me you don't like this movie.
No, this movie's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Hey, look, thanks for shouting out Journey Fellowship Church. Hey, if you go on there, can I just do a real quick plug on this?
Do it.
Again, I don't know where everyone stands who's in. I think I know where the panel stands here, but as far as everybody who's out in the chat, last week we had a week of revival services at our church, which all of the stuff is posted there. If you feel like watching a 3-hour sermon, I totally understand if you don't. But we were there all week, and again, I don't know where people stand on the power of healing and all that kind of stuff. We have a good friend of ours, me and Kirk, and obviously a good friend of the church. He's a staff member of the church. He's a pastor.
Bro,
here.
it's been an emotional week, man.
Dude, 6 years this guy's been battling autoimmune encephalitis, which essentially is a disease that detects your brain as a foreign object, and it's basically sending everything to fight it, right? He'd have seizures, hallucinations, lost his eyesight twice, literally flatlined twice in the last 2 months. To be resuscitated once by his wife. Just the worst possible, all this stuff. Well, Wednesday night, he's sitting in the back. Our pastor walks back to him. There's a long story behind that I can share another time. Walks back to him, brings him up front in the middle of this evangelist sermon. And the evangelist is like, hey, what's going on? And my pastor just says, hey, Billy needs to be healed. And he needs, God said you're going to pray for him. So he stopped preaching, prayed for him. And literally the next day, as he's getting prayed for, he says he feels this electric shock in his body. This dude is healed completely. Medically, he's gone and gotten cleared from everything. Literally, the next day or two, went to some follow-up appointments. They're canceling chemo treatments. They're canceling because, and they're just saying, "You're a miracle." That's literally what they're saying. It's if you saw this guy a month ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And the fact that you couldn't carry a conversation, he was sleeping all day, just anything. He was at staff meeting Tuesday, giving a praise report, joking. He shares an office with me, and I jokingly say, I never see him in the office because he hasn't been there. And I text him this Sunday. I was like, hey, man, I guess I got to clear out half my office for you now. And he's like, absolutely. So he's a totally different person. It's just... and I say that because on our page, on our Journey Fellowship Church, thank you, Christina, for sharing that. There's a 3-minute video of his testimony. So you may not want to watch the 3-hour sermon, but you can watch a three-minute little testimony that he shared this past Sunday. And that's one of the miracles that happened. We had people getting healed. We had so many different things happening last week.
So Billy, when I first got saved, was probably my best friend. Because we were kind of walking through the same thing, and we went to school together. He helped me put my floors down. I thought he was going to be probably one of our first guests on the Rushmore Show, and he wasn't doing well, and he just never was. So I stopped asking him, and there were times where I prayed that I was like, at every post that his wife did, I said, "Oh, this is the last time. This is the last time I'm going to see this. This is it." And I've prayed for him so many times, and I am so excited. I can't wait to hug his neck the next time I see him. But when you shared that with me, Andy, I was in the midst of so much emotion this week. School ended, so 5th graders are gone. My daughter got ranked in her softball, crying for that in joy. 26 in the nation. But Cadre ends. I get this while I'm at Cadre. Cadre's ending, which is my wife's job, my daughter's job, and one of our favorite ministry people ever. I'm crying, and then I pull this up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this right now. My emotions this week have been just out of the roof.
Wow.
Felt like I was an old woman going through menopause. I've been crying so much, bro. And bring that up, man. Bring that up. I love that guy. I love Catherine. I can't wait to hug Billy. Sorry. Hey, this is what our show's about. So we say we're not a Christian channel, but we're not a Christian channel. And sometimes the Lord just leads us in a space that I just have to take a few moments, and he has to take a few moments and I appreciate the panel for doing it. But let's jump back in this thing. Go check out Billy's thing. We'll share it on our page too, because
I'm gonna go find it. I'll put the link in the. I'll put the link in the chat.
And gosh, I love Billy to death, man. Yeah, he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. Where are we? Who's up?
We're up to you. We just talked about Wall-E, but you guys let me know about Wall-E. What do you think?
Oh yeah, tell us about Wall-E real quick. Y'all like
Oh,
Wall-E?
I haven't seen it, so I can't
Wall-E
comment.
was fun, and I saw it. When I was subbing a few months ago, I had not seen it in a while. It's not one I watch regularly, but we get a robot's perspective on what it's like when we choose not to take care of our planet, and then he goes on this exploratory mission to try and rescue someone that he thinks he needs to rescue, and ends up rescuing an entire civilization, really.
Yeah.
And so he's exploring humans, because he had watched old musicals about us, and the Music Man, I believe it was, watched the Music Man over and over and over, but he had not really known humans. And so his exploratory part is going out and finding out about humans and realizing he doesn't have to be alone in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
Hey, I just posted Billy's testimony, so at
Yeah,
any point
y'all go
you can
watch
check
that. Great
out.
3 minutes. All right, so Wall-E, good pick. I had a feeling it was going to be on here today, Benjamin and mine. So I'm going to jump in. My number 2, my link. Man, we just hit the 2-hour mark, and we're usually hitting George by now, so we're a little behind. So, and sometimes we're even done, depending on the conversation. The conversation's been so great. I'm going to come in. This is probably the newest movie of mine on the list. Martian might have been newer than this. Let me check it out. But I'm going with this. This is 2014. I think Martian was 15. So action sci-fi, 2 hours and 2 minutes, 92% Rotten Tomatoes, 8 on the IMDb, 8 out of 10. PG-13, going with my man James Gunn, and of course, first Marvel movie has to make it, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
Let's go. Let's freaking go. Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt is the guy, and he is going on a exploratory mission. He's been called by Marvel to be a part of this crazy team, and he finds out that his dad is a planet called Ego. And in my opinion, it is one of the best Marvel movies, bar none. There's only about 4 or 5 of the 35 movies that even are in the same building. And if we're to do a Rushmore, this one's on it for me. Guardians 2 is great. Guardians 3 is great. Guardians 1 started it for me. Love all the characters. Rocket, Groot, the whole 9 yards. But I mean, it's got Chris Pratt, Parks and Rec, man. It's got your boy Andy, and
the guy.
And here's the deal: great soundtrack, great story. I'm at the edge of my seat. I just love this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is my number 2, my link, and I had to get Marvel in there somehow. I leaned into maybe another 2 or 3 movies, and I was like, nah. I'm going to go back. I'm just going to do what I feel is the best. And I'm going with Guardians.
Yeah. You took another Benjamin from me. Chris Pratt, Andy Dwyer in Space. Come on, Burt Macklin. I love Parks and Recreation. It's well known. But this.
Well, I
this
just earned Fox's vote. Martian and Alien and Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, I got it. By the way, there's going to be a vote on our Instagram as soon as tonight or tomorrow, whenever. And don't just hit the heart, go hit the vote. Got to vote. Rock the vote, back in MTV days. So what do you guys think about Guardians down there in the depths?
I have like bittersweet feelings about it, because on the one hand, I was like, oh man, there are ingredients in here that I'm really into. And the more I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, I know where these ingredients came from. I know the DNA of this movie, and it's one of my favorite things. And I'll talk about it when I get to my number 1.
Oh,
yes, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Are we talking Guardians 2 then? Because you talked about Ego. So
Well, no, I was just saying that that's kind of like the whole venture, but I'm going with Guardians 1 for sure. The whole venture,
okay,
his
so
whole story is him learning his dad and all that jazz. But yeah, number 1, we're going after Ronan, and we're kind of traveling around, and I just
okay,
love the whole story.
yeah. So the fun thing with Guardians of the Galaxy is you take people that really should not be together and who are very much troublemakers. Yeah, yeah. And you, you put them together, and instead of becoming a team that really is the worst people ever and they kill and destroy, it's a team that says, hey, we've been the worst people ever. Let's try and not be the worst people ever.
I love
Yeah.
that.
And you see this
Like
wonderful
the
redemption
whole
arc.
time when they're like sitting there. Yeah, I mean, I love the whole. They're just bad guys, and I'm going to reflect back real quick with you, Eric and Paeter. Paeter, this is one of those things we were talking about earlier. Disney kind of messing with our franchises and stuff. Like, it is so amazing to me as a kid, me reading about all of our superheroes, right? And that's not just Disney. I mean, like, everybody's doing them now. But and the best that we had, like in the '80s, was a guy wearing like the worst costume you bought from, uh, you know, mom made it, if you will. The costumes are terrible. The special effects are bad. And then from Iron Man on, and just everything all of them have done. And there's been so many critiques because you're critiquing against great movies. But if you look back, like the last 20 years has been just a revolution of just seeing our childhood come to life out of the pages and these stories. And they're not always great, Eternals or whatever, but it's still like, wow, we actually get to watch this. This is crazy. And I love it. I love it. So, anyways.
Yeah.
That's my link to the past.
All right.
Yes. All right, so number one, we call it the George Washington. Eric, what you got?
So my number 1, I've had a few hints about it. If you look at this bow tie, you might see something shiny, maybe a bit round. And if you look here, you might see maybe a dial type of thing.
There you go. Yeah.
Stargate 1994, amazing movie. It started my favorite franchise ever. Stargate SG-1, the main show that came out of the movie, was very developmental in my experience with science fiction.
Yeah.
And it really moved me into the sci-fi realm. The original movie, you take some strange big circle that they found in Egypt, you hook it up to a computer, and you try to figure out how can we make this work. And you have a guy who tries to tell people, hey, aliens built the pyramids. And well, he doesn't have an apartment suddenly. He doesn't have any support, any grants left. And the Air Force says, oh, your only choice is to come work for us. Oh, and by the way, here's this thing we found in Egypt, and we need you to decipher it. And we take a Stargate, and we open up a gate that takes us to another planet just by walking through it. And they go through, and they find humans on another planet, but they also find so much more because they find out, okay, so these humans are being enslaved by this alien, and it changes their perspective, their whole cosmology, if you will. Bringing everyone back to this reality. Okay, we have something we need to do about this. And there's some discussion between Jack, who doesn't love his life right now.
Which is ego.
Huh?
I said, which is ego. Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Yep. Kurt Russell playing Jack. Jack O'Neill with one L in the movie. And that's important because it was 2 L's in SG-1 in the show. But anyway, they're finding this device, and how what SG-1 was able to do from that was, okay, What if that device couldn't go just to one planet? What if it could go to thousands of other planets? And suddenly we can explore so many stories that it's unbelievable. And this is a bit of a, some of the people who follow me would know this, but my next book is my first solo book, and it's called Dead False Gods, and it's all about faith connections in Stargate SG-1.
Nice. Awesome.
So
And I'm in the finishing touches with it. But it's hopefully will be out in June. I've got a guy working on my cover art and the cover for it, but he's had kind of a rough week and had to get some unexpected things done. But so sadly, I'm not able to show you guys the cover because it's not done yet. But I've got this coming out soon. But Stargate is what really made me realize I'm a sci-fi guy. And I may have grown up with the 50s sci-fi, but Stargate is what really propelled me into it. And, you know, SG-1 was amazing. Atlantis was amazing. Universe could have been amazing. I liked some of the things they tried to do with Universe, but there was also some things I didn't like. But, yeah, Stargate is my number one, absolutely.
And you have James Spader in it, better known as Robert California from The Office. How about that?
Or Reddington from Blacklist. But
well, there's that too. But he's also in The Office as Robert California. He is the Lizard King. Yeah. Anyway, no, this is good. Stargate. Yeah, this is a classic one.
I love Stargate. Another Benjamin of mine. I really wanted to fight for it to be higher. I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't really understand it. I mean, like years ago, years and years ago. I wasn't really a sci-fi guy probably back then. I wasn't really paying attention, I should say. But I rewatched this. I don't know, maybe about 5 years ago, and I was blown away. I was like, man, this is a good movie. This is such a great movie. And I love it. I've never seen SG-1. I just never had the opportunity.
Also, French Stewart is in it too, which is just like what a niche actor from that time.
Yeah.
Well,
he was in every movie in the 90s, I feel.
With SG-1, you have Richard Dean Anderson playing the role of Jack O'Neill. And he did an amazing job. He puts a little bit. His O'Neill is different from the other O'Neill in that he's a little bit more comedic, but he's also in a different point in O'Neill's life after that. But yeah, I mean,
and Damon Hunsu plays Horace. That guy's cool. I like him. Yeah. Anyways, this is a good movie. I like this good pick. Hey, I will say this though. Unfortunately, that means, Eric, you have now dropped below that meter. And for whatever reason, out there in the world, Stargate didn't get a lot of props. 54% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7 out of 10. Now, look, don't worry about that, Eric. I've had some that are in the 20s that I've pulled.
What was Muppets from Space again? Where were we at?
I think it was like 70s or 80s. Yeah,
that's still not bad. It's just low for what we've had.
Right. Stargate, that is a great movie. That was, I mean,
Justin, thanks for hanging out, man. Sorry.
I'm sorry. It was 63. So yeah.
I love Kurt Russell. He plays the everyman like nobody's business. I go on whatever character journey he takes me on. And when he plays, John Carpenter's The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, I'm there, you know.
Oh, look, Nerd Heaven is right there with you. Stargate fan here, movie, SG-1, Atlantis, and Universe.
Yep.
And
Justin, you're out of here. Can't stick around for the rest of the show, but got to get going. Love you, man. And also, PCG, if you're still here, we love you. We're praying for you, and just an amazing thing that you put in there. But Fox says he has to ignore MCU canon, and which is what it is. And then so let's move on. Great movie, Andy. You like Stargate?
I've seen it way back, but I do understand the lore and the love of the whole Stargate franchise
It's a
and all the things that
really
are involved
cool
with it. So,
It's
and
just so
and I do love James Spader, and I do love Kurt Russell. So
Mhm.
good pick.
well. So, and then if you've kind of leaned in and known anything about my book's a portal fantasy, and that's basically what this is I love I love going to new worlds. I love transporting to new worlds. I love going back in time, forward in time. I love all those tropes of time and space. And this does it just really cool. I really liked
Yep.
it.
Yeah. All right, so Paeter, we're up to you for your number one. You're George.
George.
Where are you going?
Okay,
You've been
so
you've been
this is-
foreshadowing some stuff.
Yeah, this is outside the box. I don't know if people will consider it a movie. I consider a miniseries a movie, or at least I am for this list, because I have to make this my number one. There's no choice. It's the DNA that clearly was forming a ton of Guardians of the Galaxy. When you look at those characters and you start matching them up, James Gunn, obviously a fan of this because of a casting choice he made in the second Guardians movie. Clearly, he's like giving credit to where the DNA is coming from. And then also, Andy, Jim Henson fan, saw that in the background. I have to say, my number one is like the cap off of my favorite television show of all time, the miniseries Farscape, The Peacekeeper Wars. There is no show like this, no sci-fi like this. It's not the creature of the week that is like Play-Doh on somebody's face like Star Trek. No, they got Jim Henson's Creature Shop doing crazy whacked out creatures every week. They got heavy emotional storytelling, character through lines that go through the whole show and culminate in the Peacekeeper Wars. So yes, it's unfair. I get that. I'm being unreasonable. But I'm sorry, and yet I'm not, because I have to say, number one, space exploration thing, something that fits in that category. The first thing I'm going to want to sit down and watch and encourage others to check out if they haven't before, it's Farscape, capped off by the Peacekeeper Wars.
I have not. I'm totally blanking on this one. So
Yeah, I did not see the Peacekeeper Wars. I did watch like the first 3 seasons, and I enjoyed it, but I just came to a place where I just needed a break from it and just have not gone back. And
yeah, it was really ahead of its time, because before there were streaming services, it was extremely serialized. And so if you missed a week of the show, you could very quickly feel lost. But like in this modern landscape of binge shows, streaming shows, it's got 20 some episodes a season. It's some of the most creative, subversive in terms of expectations and tropes. Sci-fi, space sci-fi in particular, it turns on its head the expectations of space exploration shows like Star Trek. And if you like Guardians of the Galaxy, go back. Yes, I know it was based on the comic, but oh my gosh, it was also coming heavily from Farscape. If you like Guardians, go check out Farscape.
So about probably about a year ago, I come across this. I think it might have been on the Roku channel. It was on, I don't know if it was Netflix, Hulu, or whatever. I think it was on the Roku one. And I saw it, and I'm like, this looks campy. I've never watched it, but I know I'm gonna love it. And so it was a late night, just kind of laying in bed, knowing my wife will never watch this kind of stuff. She will. I'd probably sleep on the couch for a while. So I put Farscape on, and I think I watched maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes of not I guess Peacekeeper Wars, like the original one or whatever.
The show,
And I enjoyed it because it's like his dad's on the. I can't remember it all, but like there was like a dad and guy and whatever you want to say. Anyways, and I love the characters. I love you could see the Creature Shop, that whole thing. Didn't really put the Jim Henson 2 and 2 together, but it makes sense. I'm gonna put this in my backlog because I'm gonna love this. This is the kind of stuff that I love. I just have to find the right time to watch.
Yeah.
Do you know? Well, I was just gonna say, is this one on a streaming service? Do you know?
looks like Prime.
Do I need to watch the original before this?
There's no original. You start with season 1, episode 1.
Okay.
The Peacekeeper Wars was like in place of a 5th season because they didn't get renewed for a 5th season.
Oh.
And so the show ends on a cliffhanger, and then they resolved it finally with this with the Peacekeeper Wars miniseries.
Nice.
Hey, it's on Tubi for free.
Oh, there you go.
Retro Cart. Hey, I saw you
go.
got shouted out the other day, by our friend. I'm sorry. but it made me go watch the video, and that was a awesome video about the Calgary convention. I cannot believe. Yeah, it must be Farscape. My mustachio friend Awazram is in the house. And yes, we were talking Farscape. I should have been a Farscape fan from the beginning because I'm an Australian, but it took Paeter to get me back into it. He made me a believer. Oh, we talked about the monkeys last week, and I'm a believer, but that's that. Go check that out. So 15 of you guys in the chat. Andy and I are finishing our number ones. Gosh, Farscape. I'm gonna put that on my mountain. Not my mountain, but my backlog. And Moon and Peacekeeper. So Paeter, this is why we have this show. You fit in perfect. I did because I'm not a big documentary guy. I did Band of Brothers, and I got a bunch of flack for it because it wasn't a movie. So yeah. Zach the Frugal Gardener. I had a gardening movie on here, Zach the Martian. And welcome to the show. Dude, beard is probably close to the same length. Yeah, well, you're I heard you were growing it out, so we're eliminating it. But all right, let's go. Andy, you're up. Finish this mountain.
Yes, yeah. So I mentioned
nice.
it. I mentioned it on the previous pick that these are going to be movies that I was showing in my class, and funny enough, this movie, I would say none of it takes place in space. But I surprisingly believe it's my most space exploration movie of all of my picks. This movie is so good. I've watched it, 20, 25 times, probably because of the amount of times that I showed it in my class at the end of the year. A lot of what we did at the end of the year, we got into. Now, granted, you got to take this with a grain of salt. I was teaching this to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, so it was very, very, very basic. But we were teaching a little bit of computer coding at the end of the year because it was just fun. They all want to make their own games, right, and stuff like that. So a lot about what made space travel possible in a behind-the-scenes realm. I'm going Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
Hidden Figures is an absolutely great movie. If you have not watched this movie, do yourself the favor and go watch Hidden Figures. Cast-wise too, man. This
I didn't realize this movie was that old that you were teaching this.
2016. Yeah, it's 2016.
Wow.
But yeah, so this movie, I'm pulling up the cast just so I have it all here for you. Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst, Jim Parsons. There's the list just keeps going on and on and on. This is a great movie, and I've also had it as my tagline, my favorite quote from the whole movie, because it deals with kind of racism and sexism at the time of NASA in its early days of making moon travel possible and all that kind of stuff. And Taraji P. Henson's character is this mathematician who just doesn't get the credit, but also has to deal with pretty horrible work conditions. Did I just watch? No, I've watched Hidden Figures plenty of times. But she has to deal with all this stuff. And Kevin Costner, who's the boss, gets really mad because she's late to work all the time because she's got to go all the way across the campus to the colored bathroom. And he marches down there, takes a baseball bat, knocks down the sign, and he says, "From now on, we all pee the same color." And it's one of my favorite quotes, favorite scenes in that movie. But, dude, this movie is just so good. But it's not dealing with the actual space exploration part of it, as far as going to space, at least with the main characters, but they are what makes it possible. Please go watch this movie. It's a great one. It's a great one. Hidden Figures.
2 hours and 7 minutes, drama history, 2016. I'm shocked. I felt like that movie came out since I've been here, which is 18. But man, it's such a good movie. It's great. I watched it with my wife not long ago, and we enjoyed it tremendously. Yeah, it's a great movie. Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
You guys seen that one?
I have,
Yes.
yeah. I don't have anything to add. Great performances. Love Octavia Spencer. Yeah, really, really worth watching.
Yep. So
Well-
it's funny because we started with Apollo 13, which is one of the scariest emergency situations that our real life space exploration has had. And you're taking us back long before that to what led to that moment and to the people working behind the scenes who enabled space exploration in real life.
Yeah.
And you're giving them honor and recognizing that people that were not always thought of as heroes at the time were heroes at that time.
Yeah.
And taking them into pause and remember what they did is a very good thing.
So PNX says, I have a fun fact about the movie, but maybe I shouldn't mess with the magic. Oh, it's one of those controversial things, I'm assuming, PNX. I mean, you're welcome to share it here as long as it's appropriate. But we love you. We love you. We that's what makes this show fun. The Right Stuff is a great space movie, and that shows how old you are, Zach. Just kidding. The Right Stuff is a great movie. It is on my Benjamins today. I shouldn't probably say that because somebody might steal it, but I'm old like you, and they're not, so maybe it'll still be there. And so, all right, my George, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna talk about a young boy that traveled the galaxy and started the greatest of all. And I'm wearing the shirt. Of course, I'm doing it. I'm going New Hope. New Hope. And Eric, you mentioned it earlier, like you wouldn't go there. Well, yeah. A lot of people have traveled the galaxy all over the place in all of these movies. But this story follows one main character who gets to do it for the first time. And he meets a band of brothers that turns into what I consider on the Rushmore, at least, of movie franchises. I'm going with Star Wars: The New Hope. And when I brought it up, again, going back to Alien, I said, which one has the most exploration out of all of the movies? Because I love them all. And I kind of foreshadowed with the shirt. I foreshadowed when I said about Disney messing with our stuff. And my kids love the new Star Wars. I don't hate it like everybody else. I remember when everybody hated 1, 2, and 3. And now apparently 3 is the best movie of all time. I remember being there and everybody hated it. Like, oh my gosh, it's the worst ever. Why are you messing with my stuff? Then Jar Jar Binks and blah, blah, blah. And now 3 is so high up the mountain. Personally, Return of the Jedi is my favorite for many nostalgic reasons. But what started it all and started the journey and started the space exploration and going to Dagobah and all Tatooine and all these different places was the very first one. And going with New Hope. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna have it on my mountain until we started kind of chatting in the I was gonna say, I'm gonna make sure that my criteria is I'm not gonna have Star Wars, Star Trek, or Aliens. That was what my original, and I'm going to do anything that's not them. And I was like, nope, you guys are going to do some controversial stuff, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going with Star Wars, number 1.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do it. You took a Benjamin because I just wasn't going to put Star Wars out there like that. But yeah, I think it's more of a war movie than a space exploration movie.
It is a war movie. It's right there in the name. It's right
war
there.
is in the title. So
it's also a star movie, which is in space.
Sometimes stars are in our hearts.
Or in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Babylon.
No, I like the pick, obviously. Yeah.
Star Wars is definitely Zach's number 1. See, we're old. Yep, Zach, got it. Star Wars, on the other hand, does a horrible job at depicting science and space. So I watched. You weren't here for this, PNX, but Neil deGrasse Tyson said his favorite top 20 movies. He was ranking them all, and he everything was about the science of the movie. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a scientist or a physicist. I could really care less about that. I just want to enjoy it, and this thing takes me on a journey every time I watch it. When I talk about rewatchability, I talk about cast, I talk about quotes, talk about just fandom and love. man, I mean, like when we go to these conventions, I'm looking for Star Wars stuff. You know, we bought a lightsaber last time that was 3D printed. Just really cool stuff. But I totally agree. I'm not going to disagree with you, PNX. They did not do a great job. And that what's crazy, you PNX, you say that Interstellar is a great job of depicting science. That and Martian were the two movies that he said depicted it the best. And Interstellar didn't get mentioned today yet. But it is time for our Benjamins. And we are rolling, and we got to get through this quick because we're going to have the longest show ever here, and these guys are never going to come back and visit us. We keep talking like this. So let's do it. All about the Benjamins. This is our last segment. Time to go home. Let's talk about it. Our honorable mention. All right, so this is how the game works. Everybody has a little bit of a pool of extra movies that they have left. Your criteria can change for this, especially knowing what everybody's picked. You cannot pick any movie that's already been mentioned. And once you pick it, it's off the board. So we're going to go the same draft order that we had. So Eric, Paeter, Andy, me. Here's the difference. In the second round, it goes backwards, just like a fantasy football draft. So it'll be me, Andy, Paeter, and then Eric. And then third round, back the other direction again, and fourth the other direction. So Eric, you will have the first pick, 2 back-to-back picks, and then the last pick. I will have 2 back-to-back picks on the both sides, and Paeter and Andy are in the middle. We call it the Benjamins because Benjamin Franklin was considered the 5th guy on the mountain, and he just missed it. He never made it, so he's an honorable mention. So we call him about the Bennies. So what is your Benjamin today? Eric, start us off. You don't have to talk a whole bunch about this, but give a couple facts, like why you think you need to make it.
So it's another 1950s movie, Forbidden Planet.
I thought you were going to say this one earlier, I think.
Yeah. Forbidden Planet is very heavily influenced by Shakespeare. And you find there's a colony that was set up years ago. Earth has not heard anything from this colony for 20 years. And they go back and they find a guy living there with his daughter, and they're the only 2 survivors of this colony. And so it explores our own ability to cause problems again, just like the day the Earth stood still kind of explored that. And how, this guy or in this, they experience some terrors from something on the planet that is trying to kill people. So
nice.
Yeah, great
All right,
movie.
Forbidden Planet. All right.
When you said 51 earlier, this is the one that popped in my mind. Or 50.
Okay.
Good movie. I've actually seen this one, even though I don't love the old movies. I have seen this. It's a good movie. Paeter, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm a fan of horror, fan of space horror, fan of Lovecraftian horror.
Oh.
I cannot recommend this movie to almost anyone. I got to know you personally and know that you're going to be okay handling this. Yes, it was mentioned before, and that's Event Horizon. They went into space. They went into space to explore. Like when I watched this movie, it got inside my head. And then years later, I showed it to my wife when we were dating. I don't know what I was thinking. We watched cartoons for 2 hours afterwards just to kind of clear out our heads. I mean, this movie stays with you.
It's the most mind-bending space movie I've ever watched. It's so creepy.
Yeah. So don't watch it. But I love it.
I love that you brought that up. I would have never expected it to get mentioned twice today. And Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, this was right there. Was gonna be. I actually moved it out for Muppets because I had to talk about Muppets, and I'm so glad it didn't get picked. Kirk, I thought you may pick this one because of the cast and because of just how great of a movie this is. Years 2000. It's a Clint Eastwood movie, Space Cowboys. Cowboys.
I actually looked that movie up while we were talking. Somebody, I think it was Paeter's movie, when he said it, I was like, oh, he's going to go Space Cowboys. I forgot all about that one. Or it might have been Eric. One of y'all said it, and I was like, and I wrote it down, like, in case I needed it. Well, no.
It's like, most movies, like getting the band back together. No, like they're going to space.
All right, so my criteria kind of changes a little bit. in the fact that all of these movies except one, it hits me in the feels. It's a nostalgic. It's a I grew up with this, and I just love. These are rewatchables for me. So I got back-to-back picks. So I'm going to come up with the two of them. I'm going to go with, and it's in the title. I'm going with Explorers, and Explorers for first half of the movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the second half of the movie, when they actually meet the aliens, it's like a whole new movie. It's not nearly as good as the first half of the movie, but the first half of the movie is like it's like imagination. I just love it so much. And then I'm going with another one. This is campy. This is superheroes before they were superheroes. This is just, what year was this movie? This movie was so Explorer was 85 PG. This one is 80 PG as well. Sam Jones, Flash Gordon. I'm going with. I remember watching this as a kid. I love this movie so much. Ming the Merciless. Like this was superheroes back then. Super campy, super fun. But man, I'm going with Flash Gordon and Explorers. Andy, you're up.
Yeah. All right.
Flash.
I mean, I'm a 90s.
Yes. And I want to watch that right now. Out of all these movies, I want to go and find Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
All
All right. So I'm a 90s, 2000s kid. 2002, this animated classic comes out. It's like a pirate movie in space. I'm going Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Treasure Planet.
I had it. That's low hanging fruit. I had that one on my. That's my pick if these two get picked. So I'm out of that one. All right, cool.
Treasure Planet. Love it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. All right, we're back to you, Paeter.
Okay, so, well, since I broke this rule already, I'll just break it again. But instead of being the end of the series, it's a mini-series at the beginning, and that's the Battlestar Galactica mini-series from the 2000s. I think, actually, though, this is almost a self-contained thing. Like, even if you don't go and watch the rest of the story, it ends on this note of, like, hope. And, like, you know, if you don't watch the rest of the show, then you're going to be okay. It ends on a note of hope and promise for the future. But it's, you know, dramatic. It's very character-oriented. And it's about them. Yeah, they got to explore. They got to explore and find a new place to live.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Good old Office. All right, so
Eric, you get two picks.
Two picks. Well, you know, animation is important.
Yeah.
And I've always loved Planet 51.
Yes, good movie. Fun stuff.
You know, you have a planet set in the 1950s, but it's aliens, and then a human lands on it, but he's not from the 1950s. He's from like the 90s or 2000s, and all sorts of craziness erupts. So much fun. Such a wonderful movie. I love
how it's Planet 51 and like Area 51. There's so many like tongue-in-cheek jokes in that movie. Yep. And honestly, one of my favorite things is the cast of this. And you got Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Justin Long, Gary Oldman, Sean William Scott, Jessica Biel. That's a fun movie, man. Yep. I love that movie.
Yeah. So my next one is also going to be a connection because I'm going to do kind of a slash here because you need both Firefly and Serenity.
So every time Paeter has brought up this series, I'm like, oh, it's Firefly. Oh, it's Firefly. And here we are. So being a part of Retro Rewind podcast, they do Firefly quite a bit, and we watched it with them. I've never seen Serenity, though. I've seen parts of Firefly. I haven't seen every episode, although it's only, 13 episodes. But I've never seen Serenity. And one of the reasons is because I've never finished the show.
Yeah, Serenity is good. It kind of brings it puts them into a very dangerous situation. It gives us a very capable antagonist in that universe, and also forces like you know, we've always known that there's got to be some sort of reason why they're so against the central control, and you find out how far the central controlling planet is really willing to go, and you're like, oh, that's terrible.
You're building a great list, man. I love it. Both of you are. All right, so back to you, Paeter. Number 3 pick.
Okay, another controversial one. I don't know that there's any exploring in this space movie, but it comes from a lineage of space exploration, and I'm one of the weirdos that, despite being a 90s Trek fan, prefers the Abrams universe, and so I got to say Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Really
Nice.
love that movie. That is my favorite Star Trek movie.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pick this one not because it's a good movie, but I like things, again, talking about our Culture Box friends, over at Geek Devotions, they have another kind of project that they do called the Bottom Shelf Podcast, right? Where they talk about, like, they're so bad that they're good. You know what I mean? Like, these things. And I got to pick, man, Space Bugs. We got to go Starship Troopers. This movie is just
I
not.
had this
so
in my
cheesy.
chat GPT when I said, "Hey, is this a space exploration?" And they're like, "No, it's a war."
I don't care if it is or isn't.
It's a
It has to
war
be talked
movie.
about
You use
today.
this for war.
That's
It could be a
that's
war
the movie
movie.
that got
Yeah.
my girlfriend into monster movies.
There you go.
I love
Starship
this
Troopers.
movie.
So cheesy, so bad, but so good.
And when I was a young warthog, I was watching this movie not for the sci-fi. I could tell you that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
All right, Kirk, back to back. Your last two picks.
back Jacks. Paeter, you scared me. I even went like this because you said you like the J.J. Abrams and you went Into the Darkness. I'm going 2009 though, the very first J.J. Abrams installation. I'm going the one right before it. And I'm not a huge Trek fan. I loved Next Generation a lot. As you can see down on my little tagline, my name's Kirk. My whole life, I get the Captain Kirk. As a kid, my dad called me James. Never understood it till I got older.
Huh.
When I was working in my missionary position, one of the guys there called me Tiberius. And I don't hate Star Trek, but I definitely honor the story. And I gave J.J. Abrams that first one a shot, and man, I loved it. I just loved it. I love the whole series, the new set and where it's gone and where it's going. I love it. So Star Trek, the next one, that's the only one that isn't a nostalgia burn, more of the series. And I'm talking too much, but I'm going to come with this one. Another campy. This is my Galaxy Quest, guys. This is my Galaxy Quest. I'm going with Mom and Dad Save the World.
Oh,
And
It's been so long.
oh,
I have not seen that in a long time.
If you remember this movie, it's just gold. It's the I can't remember his name, but off the top of my head, the principal,
John Lovitz.
Bueller, and Don Lovitz.
Oh, Jeffrey Jones.
Yes. Oh gosh, and they take the station wagon to space and they save the world. And it's campy. It's got weird, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle original costumes for, like, aliens, and I love this movie so much. It's so much fun. And that's the one that knocked Galaxy Quest off for me because they were kind of in the same world, but I just have more nostalgia for this one. So I knew I was going to have that one at the end. I didn't think anybody would pick it, so I saved it for the best.
So this is my last one here is, man, it's one of those just core memories. Hold on.
And this would have been a good pick, but I didn't feel having this movie as my one to come back with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going 1997.
Yeah.
Harlan Williams. He's got the whole world in his hands. I'm going Rocket Man. Rocket Man for my final.
Okay.
I just for core memories of this movie. I love this.
Yeah. All right.
It's actually a remake. I found it's a partial remake of The Reluctant Astronaut from the late '60s.
Really?
So there you go. Yeah. Anyway, Rocket Man, Harlan Williams.
Yeah, that guy is hilarious.
I mean, I think of him in other movies other than Rocket Man too, but yeah, it's good stuff. All right.
So, look, Sean's coming in hot. Spaceballs, Last Starfighter, he's coming in hot. And I still don't, there's still some bangers. Eric, where are you going for your, no, I'm sorry, Paeter, where are you going for your last pick?
The Jonathan Frakes directed Star Trek movie where he was trying to bring some alien vibes to the franchise, and that's Star Trek First Contact, heavily about the Borg and the Borg Queen, and doing some cool character stuff in there makes it one of my favorite Star Trek movies.
So
Nice.
First Contact. So
Nice.
I like the Borgs. They're cool.
Yep.
All right.
I've seen all of these movies, but they get kind of muddled sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if that's not like my franchise. But I know this is a good movie.
All right.
All right, finish this off. Brock Purdy.
So I'm
Mr.
going to
Relevant.
finish this off with the quirky that also helped us look at the meaning of life. We're talking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where
it was a potential for me. Good. pick.
yeah,
Very
yeah. I
quirky,
mean, just
very
going out into space, trying to figure out the meaning of life. You know, my 3 books there: 42, Discovering Faith Through Fandom; the new 42, God Terraforms All Things; and the Fantastic 42, Fellowship Facing Doom with Hope. So yeah, I cannot ignore Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I read the books a few years ago, probably around 2020. So I've like all 4 or 5 of them in one big volume. Very different humor, but still the movie was great as well. So
yeah, good pick. I prefer the BBC series for the Hitchhikers.
okay,
Cat from Outer Space, also Laugh Out Loud. Lost in Space, Fifth Element. So I put Fifth Element in my thing, and it said no for the space exploration. Which it has a little bit, I guess. I did pick. That was one of those my favorite. Yes, we need Cat from Outer Space. Good pick. Lost in Space. So I don't know that I've ever seen Lost in Space, like the movie, but I did watch the new series, the newer series that came out.
I liked the new series.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I watched the 90s movie a lot as a kid.
Hmm.
And so it was one of my considerations, but it's been so long since I've seen it again that I kind of said, we've got other things to focus on.
There's a lot of, here's the thing. Interstellar wasn't mentioned. Space Odyssey wasn't mentioned. Gravity wasn't mentioned. And there's one more. And all of these, when I pulled up what are the greatest, those were the top, along with Martian. And we mentioned one more. They were like the list. And that's why the Rushmore Show is so fun. We don't always pick the GOATs of what either the world or the critics think. It's our favorite because of nostalgia. And I didn't pick Interstellar because, honestly, I saw it, but I can't remember much about it.
Well, it's because you can't understand what anybody is saying in Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah.
I can't understand what's anything in Christopher Nolan movies, something with the dialogue. He's like, dialogue doesn't matter. We'll just muffle that out.
So I don't remember a lot of it. And so anyways, but I know it was great. It's way up there, and Space Odyssey is just not my jam. But if you guys ever see, if you go to our Instagram or our pages or our top thumbnails, I always throw some hints out there of some ones that I think probably should be mentioned but might not be mentioned today. And I use Odyssey as my music, and I use Gravity as the background, and there you go. So my dog is named after Interstellar character. Oh, nice. So Dylan, love you. I can't wait to have you back on. Dylan is the third most been on this channel before as far as a guest. Paeter.
Wait, Dylan, your dog's name is Matthew McConaughey? I mean, to each his own, but it seems
Dylan
like
does look like a McConaughey fan. He does look like a McConaughey fan.
Oh, he's got to be.
Yeah. We are Marshall. And Eric, man, thank you for being on, both of you. Eric, like I said, Nate's coming on. We don't have an extra guest with him if you want to join. Paeter, you're always welcome back on. We figure out some other things. This is what we got going. Guys, I want y'all to share your channels one more time. We are in movies right now. We start off with video games for the first 2 months, music next 2, movies the next. Nostalgia's coming up. It's all booked. And honestly, the first month of sports is already booked. If you want to be on sports or food, anybody in the chat or any whatever, let me know, because they're getting picked up. And video games are around the corner. If you want to jump in the beginning of the year and wait a little bit, you're welcome to. But this is how we do things around here. And we love you. And right at 3 hours. Hey, Paeter, share with all of our new friends that may have just got here. And by the way, everybody go hit the like button before you leave. Share with them where they can find you, what you've got going on. And then, Eric, you're going to share as well. And we're going to tell everybody good night.
Yeah, well, like Eric, I'm going to be at the Realm Makers Expo in Michigan in July. I've also got a big interview with a big name at DC Comics, a writer that I'm excited to be talking to. That's going to be coming up late summer, early fall. We're doing our first Timothy Geek application Bible study, verse by verse through the book on my channel and podcast. All kinds of reviews and movies and shows and games and comics, reactions from a biblical perspective, all of that, ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Hey, Drew, 100%. If you want to be on that episode too, I just knew that Eric was good friends with Nate, and so we can have more than 2. If you want to be on, and Drew, I have you down for that, by the way. But if Eric wanted to be on, but hey, that's great. Everybody go follow Spirit Blade and all the things that Paeter is doing. I've been so encouraged, and it's such a great page. It's uplifting, it's wholesome, it's great for all us nerds and geeks to see another perspective, and it's really inspirational to us. We've been kind of lurking in the background. Hopefully we can consider ourselves friends, and Paeter, I can't wait to have you on again.
Oh,
and if
thanks,
you ever
man.
need us for anything, we come on, do some stuff with you, and
Wow, thank you.
If you ever want to have us, we'd love to do it.
Thank you.
Eric, share with your side of what you got going on before we head on out.
All right. Well, I do have a YouTube channel. Just search Nerd Chapel. I don't have anything new right now because I've been so focused on other things, and there's been other life things I've had to focus on. So my YouTube channel doesn't have a lot of new stuff, but you will find a whole series of videos where I'm reading the entries from my first book, 42 Discovering Faith or Fandom, because I did that in the year that we celebrated 10 years of Nerd Chapel, 2023. What I have coming up this summer, well, like I said, I'll be at Gen Con, Realm Makers. Oh, I have a table at Fan Expo Chicago this year. So I'm really excited about that. And I just shared on my social media the other day that I am now part of their affiliates program. So if you click the link that I have shared on my social media, specifically on my Facebook page, then if you buy a ticket through that link, then a credit would be put toward my table for purchasing a table in 2026. So, but yeah, find me at cons. My schedule is up at nerdchapel.com. You can find me, Nerd Chapel, on Facebook and on Instagram. And like I said, I've got a book that should be out soon, Dead False Gods. It's basically an exploration of the Christian faith from the lens of Stargate and comparing the two things. And we find some contrast, but we also find some really good comparisons. So,
hey, so I just don't want them to disappear real quick. Ironically, Owazram and PNX are going to be on our show together in the same night on July 17th. And hey, guys, we need to figure out a topic. We don't have a topic. That's nostalgia. It's going to be in the nostalgia world. We got to come up with a topic, and I can't wait to hang out with both you guys. And if you guys want to be on video games again, for sure, we can get you both on that as well. Hey, just to throw this out, Eric and Drew and whoever else, the episode with Nathan is also in that realm. It is, that's how I saw PNX and reminded me. It's July 24th. And so, yeah, if you guys want to be on, and we would love to have y'all. So, Andy, it's almost 3 hours. We have burned this oil, and I am so thankful for everybody in the chat. If you guys have prayer requests or anything you need, hit us up at all the things below. Go watch that video on Billy. even if you're not Christian, it will change your life. He's a walking testimony. You can claim all kinds of things, but it happened. It happened, and it's wild to believe. Go watch. It's like a 3-minute video. Share all your stuff in the chat, guys. Go hit the like button. Go follow Paeter. Go follow Eric. Check out their journey. They've got some great books. Go purchase. Go support. Go do all the things. And thank you guys for being here. Andy, you got anything else you want to share?
Well, let's close it before the 3-hour mark, and let's get everybody to bed. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Paeter, Eric, thank you guys. But let's say goodnight like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4.
And nothing more.
Nothing else.
Peace.
Yo.